What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fresh Fit Podcast, man. And we're here with the guys from Valuetainment. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Fresh Fit Podcast, man. We're here with two special guests, man. We're here with Adam and Patrick Bet-David out of Valuetainment. Guys, quick announcement before we get into the show. Rumble.com/FreshFit. As you guys know, we make crazy content, so we might get canceled anytime, so go ahead and check us out over there. If we do get canceled, you'll know where to find us. Also, FreshandFit.locals.com, where you guys go get behind-the-scenes content, whether it's us kicking out an annoying-ass girl or double dates or pre-show stuff. Go ahead and check us out over there as well. Also, check us out on Megaphone. Get the audio version of the podcast there. Just make sure you wear headphones so you don't get fired at your job, especially with the conversation we're about to have today, because we're going to be having some pretty based takes on some things. Also, get the merch, FreshFitPodcastStore.com, guys, where you can get the Chris the Bum shirt, my favorite one. Wear it when you go to the gym for extra motivation, extra rep. And then also go ahead and check out our clips channel, Fresh and Fit Clips, guys. We post 7 clips on there per day, 10 shorts. So go ahead and check it out. And then we also got another one called More Fresh and Fit Clips, as well as Fresh's vlog channel.
Guys, for more vlogs, man, behind the scenes, go check it out. Clips as well. And guys, we had Saturday, the first ever meetup for CEO Network. Myron was there signing the books as well. It was awesome. If you want to see it, go to the vlog channel. I told you, on the way. Let's go.
And check out my channel, guys. Fed Reacts on there. I break down criminal cases. I did DB Cooper yesterday, as you guys know, 1971, the most famous air hijacking, only one that's unsolved, actually, by the way, as well. So I broke that one down, and I'm going to be giving y'all probably something on La Cosa Nostra this Thursday. And that'll probably be the end of the Mafia series. But other than that, guys, go check out Fed React's new channel name. And also go get my book, Why Women Deserve Less, Amazon bestseller, by the way. Okay? Because we all know.
What a great
book in stores right now, man. It's out in hardcover, softcover, Audible, Kindle, any type of platform that you guys like to read. Or if you don't like to read, you want to hear me yell at you on Audible, because I have voiced it myself, go ahead and get it. Why Women Deserve Less, in stores right now. Number one book in feminist theory for a while. I
gotta ask, bro. I'm curious.
Yeah.
What do you think about that book?
I think it's a great title. I think it is a great title to piss off a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, tell them about the book that you're working on right now. How long it took to come up with that title?
By the way,
that
is similar to that. That's Choose Your Enemies Wisely. You're choosing your enemies wisely. It's a great title.
What do you think, Adam?
What do I think about the book?
Yeah, title.
Fantastic title, and you know, I feel like you've done your research to back that up.
Yeah.
Okay. Based on all the clips that you've done, all the shows that you've done, I think that how long did it take for you to come up with that title?
The title, it came up because I was like, I was 5 minutes. And it like 5 minutes. Yeah. I saw that on when you Google it on Amazon, it comes up as a notebook with no real book. So I was like, someone needs a real book on this crap. Mm-hmm. So, and then researching this stuff, I had kind of already known a lot of it. So you were able to turn it out real quick.
And it's changed so many lives, man.
Yeah, man. A lot of people enjoy it. It's only 80 pages because, Women Deserve Less. So,
by the way, your Fed Reacts channel, you just had Michael Francis on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Which you guys did some fantastic interviews with him prior, right? I watched some of those and I was like, okay.
Amazing guest.
Yeah. So, and I had been watching his YouTube channel before because, obviously from my prior career or whatever, we did organized crime as well. So, and it's funny because nowadays with the FBI, right, like they're not focusing so much on organized crime as they used to because of after 9/11, they've been like really tasked with their three biggest programmatic areas nowadays are obviously counterterrorism, espionage, and public corruption, which we'll talk about that. We could talk about that a little bit today too, as far as like the FBI being utilized for political reasons, right, which ties into the public corruption angle that they try to go with. But yeah, HSI was like focusing on doing more organized crime. So I think they took like a mafia case in New York a couple of years ago. So it's kind of shifted after 9/11, but that's a whole other.
Without further ado,
our guys.
What's up?
So happy to have y'all here.
It's good to be here. I was going to say, listening to Fresh, how committed he's getting to family and wanting to settle down. Since if you want to start today's podcast with a prayer, that'd be great. I know former pastor yourself. Preacher, fresh. I
Word
will
on the
never
street.
forget this guy wanting to be a pastor.
That's right.
We could, man. We could. I mean,
Word on the street is there might be a girlfriend in the future.
listen,
Steady.
man.
What's
Steady.
still?
I'm just saying, bro, you know, to protect my assets, I gotta stay focused. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Way to deflect. Diplomat right there. Politician.
Okay. All right, yeah, tell them who you are, bro. I know we know who you are, but just for the guests.
Valuetainment, businessman, entrepreneur, started an insurance company in 2009, sold it a year ago. We have 45,000 agents nationwide in 49 states, few hundred offices. And then we run a consulting firm and a media company now, and podcast, PBD Podcast. He's got a podcast called Soscast. And you guys got some coming up here on Friday, I believe, right? At
Yes, we
the
do.
Comedy Club, at the lounge, at the Cigar Lounge.
Yeah.
I have
Live
a feeling
event.
what you guys are going to pull off, it's going to be a very different audience than the PBD Podcast. I have a feeling that highlight video, whoever is going to be there, they're going to want to be part of the first one like that, because after the first one, those tickets going to sell out in no time, because I think you guys are going to put on a show. Very different kind of a show than the one we put on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
this is the first live event you guys ever done. Right? Like
yeah,
live,
yeah,
full on,
yeah.
200 people in the crowd, DJ, women. Yes, miss. Adam, you did. Adam, you're a fucking snake. Myron, blah, blah. The soft boys out there.
Yeah, there's
So, yeah, it'll be fun.
I think for
It'll be
the
a good
first time, people always want to see the show live, and now you can actually in Fort Lauderdale, June 2nd, 6 p.m.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we get a lot of requests for people, hey, I want to come to the studio and watch a show. And it's like,
It's too small,
no,
bro.
can't do that, man, for obvious reasons, right? The
Yeah.
girls, safety reasons, etc. So it's better to just do it at a live event. I'll be able to catch it live for the first time, June 2nd, man.
And for a low price of $50.
Yeah, dude, like, well, that's
Yeah, bro.
crazy, man. For
Nothing.
general admission, the VIP is sold out. So sorry, guys.
Yeah,
That's
sorry,
out
sorry,
for y'all
guys.
if you decided to wait.
Yeah.
No more VIP. But y'all can still go ahead and get the general admission. $50, man. Get in there, meet us. And don't worry, I'm going to walk around and shake everybody's hand. If you show up, I will come and say what's up to you.
And that is no joke.
That is yes.
Yeah.
He does
And
not
then-
leave until everyone's taking a picture.
Facts.
Afterwards, we're going to have the private party, the VIPs.
Yes.
And the cigar lounge that we put together is insane. So obviously everybody that bought their VIP tickets, the ladies will be invited, your crew.
Woo, let's
Yeah.
go.
It's
Absolutely.
going to be sick.
And
Epic.
Adam,
So
hopefully you have Hennessy.
for you, Chris.
Oh, man.
You ain't
Hennessy
invited, bro.
on tap for you,
How
bro.
this guy just invite himself?
Hey,
I
show up, man. I show up.
Damn,
Still
Chris
sick
isn't
as hell
invited.
past few days. He was nowhere to be
Chris
found.
isn't invited. You guys are going to be struggling to get tickets out there, fellas.
What the hell, man?
This guy, bro.
The show, Chris, like,
He's
Chris,
alive.
you just recovered, bro. Like, it's like, what the hell's going on
Is
here?
that his drink? Hennessy's his drink, or?
Yeah.
It's his drink of choice, unfortunately.
More or
Yes.
less.
Yeah, very high end. High
Yeah.
quality stuff. Yeah.
What's your drink of choice?
Sparkling water.
You're not drinking at all these days.
Not really.
At all.
If I go out nowadays, I might take one tequila shot just to be nice, but that's about it.
And you don't drink, period.
Not really, no. But if I do, it's
Oh,
vodka.
yeah.
Vodka.
If I do,
And you'll do one old
but
fashioned.
I'll
rarely.
do one old fashioned and one
That's it.
finish it.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, don't even ask me how much I had.
I was gonna say,
what's yours?
Yeah.
I was born and
Tequila.
raised in Miami in a club, like infant. They like Moses. They sent me down the Miami River into a club. I was breastfed on tequila, and look what we got now.
Who
Tequila.
else
So,
owns a bar
yeah.
out here too?
Yeah, exactly.
Bodega. Shout out to Bodega.
Okay, I didn't want to say it. Unless you had
Worldwide.
it. Okay, yeah, bodega.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's fun.
No, it's a good spot, and you got like they have the hidden door or whatever. So
Speakeasy in the back.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's dope. That's fire.
it's a taco spot / bar.
All right, some chats
okay, I
here.
can hit some of these chats, so we'll get into today's topic. All right, Daniel Flips Vegas goes, another great guest. You guys are doing Lord's work for these young men watching. We got you, bro.
Yep.
Bringing out all types of content, man. Unlike Apple and Sneech. Adam stays gripped it off the RP space. Every RP guest they have, they pull something shady. Not a fan of MLD or 60% RP guys, but it's obvious that you guys are doing that. Doing on that podcast. Go ahead, Adam. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanna talk about this?
I knew this was gonna come.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Thank
of
you,
course.
guys.
Please go ahead.
Took 5 minutes.
Well, no, I mean, look, I'm cool with MLD. It's so funny. You can build 1,000 bridges. You've ever heard that thing? You build 1,000 bridges. You fuck one goat. You're no longer a bridge builder. You fuck goats. You're a goat fucker. So you do 1,000 podcasts, and one or two go awry. People, oh, there's a setup. It's a snake. Like your former Homeland Security. You know what a setup is. So what happened was MLD. Been on the show multiple times, totally cool, zero issues whatsoever. Came on a show, and look, I believe in being a free thinker, being independent. Nobody needs Captain Save-A-Ho to come in and save anybody.
Yeah.
You're your own person. So he got in an issue with a girl, Angela and I, a capable person, not an idiot, and she had something to address. So that's like if whatever you had something to address with Pat, or he had something to address with you, and it's my show, your show, whatever. all right, address what you got to address.
Yeah.
So some
I'll do it
people,
off air, but everyone's
Yeah.
different, right?
some people, and I'm cool with MLD. I feel like his message of money, muscles, game frame is important for men. Let's not lose sight of what we actually do on these podcasts
Absolutely.
is to help men improve.
And
Correct?
you still text him today, right?
Yeah, we're cool.
Yeah.
And he got into a thing on the show with the girl. She had a point. He had a point. Let the point play out. I know the audience has been mixed. Some people think that he was in the right. Some people think that she actually held her own. But, you know, let the audience decide. But for all the people out there that are basically saying, it's a setup, I'm bringing him in to make him look. This has zero to do with me, zero to do with anything with valuetainment. That's not what we do whatsoever. But at the same time, I'm not going to rush to his defense. She's also a guest on the podcast. It's not like he needs my help. If he had something he wanted to say, I happen to think if he took the Myron approach and be like, yeah, I did call you fat, and what? Then the argument would have been done.
Yeah.
But in my estimation, he was like, I don't really know you. I don't remember the comment. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. And then finally he kind of owned up to it, and that's just fine. But we're cool. It's not like I've have any beef with MLD whatsoever.
Yeah. And people
Or doing any
so.
sort of setups, any sort of nonsense like that.
And the people said that he like ran off. Guys, he had a podcast
Yeah.
to do with Brandon Carter.
Yeah, I can show you the
Victory
text
Talk.
right
Yeah,
now, just in
like-
his defense.
Because if you
Yeah.
watch, like, Victory Talk was, I think, at like 7 or 8 p.m. that night. So he had to
Yeah.
run to get back down
And
to
traffic.
Miami. So because they shoot up in Fort Lauderdale, guys. So he had to come back southbound to do the show. with
Just
Brandon
to clear
Carter.
the air here so we can move on. The last text we had were, hey, what time does the show start? I said, be there by 3:30. Show starts at 4. He says, I have a hard out at 6 p.m. I got to be another podcast at 7 p.m. Cool. I said, all right, ETA. He said, I'll be there soon. And then my next text at 7 o'clock when the show was over was, dude, what the hell happened? And then, hey, brother, one more. And he goes, hey, we'll talk in the morning, whatever. So that's the latest word with that. So
Yeah.
he had no clue. I had no clue. We had no clue. When you go live on podcasts,
We know that feeling.
you know that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like,
We're doing live.
Yeah.
we're doing it live. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So shout out to Bill O'Reilly. So he's cool. He has my number. No problem. Donovan texts me. Other people text me.
Yeah.
Zero beef, zero issues. It's all about respect. I think at the end of the day, just to kind of put a ribbon on this thing, the goal of any of our podcasts is to help the people in the audience improve.
Yeah.
Get better, smarter, faster, stronger, cooler, sexier, wealthier, and don't lose sight of that shit.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I had
And-
a question.
Yeah.
Something I had a problem with. This is just live on air as well.
Sure.
And I want you to defend it because obviously
Sure.
people want to know as well. The Sneako podcast.
Sure.
That I didn't like too much, but could you explain why
Sure.
happened there? Because people had questions too as
So
well.
you know how like on any of these podcasts, this is another conversation that we've had.
Yeah.
You know, they say never apologize, bro. Don't ever apologize. Don't say never. Stand your ground. It's like there's one podcast that I did that I actually apologized, and that was a Sneako podcast. And he came on. Just a little context. I don't know Sneako. I never met him. We're not friends. We're not home. It's not like you and I have met a dozen times.
Right.
However, even MLD, I've known him for over a year now. We've done multiple shows. He showed up a little guarded. I think my nature, Pat could tell you, is I'm always like, look, bro, like what can I get from you? Like in a good way. Like I'm trying to extract information. He seemed a little closed off. And I felt like I was doing a little too much. You know, I said, you're doing too much, bro, to kind of ingratiate myself with him, to be like, listen, we know the same people. This
Open up.
isn't like a get you thing. Like you can open up. This isn't a setup. So it kind of felt that way. And even afterwards, we're like, yeah, it kind of didn't go the right way. And I actually called him up and I was like, listen, man, I just want to tell you, I just want to give myself a my bad. Like, I didn't mean to come at you like that. We had a whole conversation of like, Adam, don't forget who you are. Be nice. Like, I felt like if there was one thing I should have done better on that podcast was genuinely just be nice. And we have all types of people on the podcast, people that we agree with, disagree with. And I think as a general rule for guests, whether you have full fundamental disagreements or you disagree on 2% of things of whether you should get a what's the Rolo disagreement that you have with Sneako?
Vasectomy.
Vasectomy, which is so not
vasectomy.
anything I'm
Yeah.
condoning whatsoever. But like wherever you disagree, you should still do it to the ability of nicest of your ability, be a gentleman and hold
amicably as
yourself
possible.
accountable. So I hold a major component of what we do is accountability. We try to hold people accountable, try to hold women accountable. And, you know, I'll take accountability for taking an L, so to speak, on that podcast. But guys, this was a one-off thing. It's like if I only did one podcast a year and this was it, I'd be like, oh my God.
Right.
We do hundreds of podcasts a year. And if there was a mulligan, I would take that back. But I'm totally cool with Sneako. Major respect. And
We all make mistakes,
Yeah.
bro.
So
We've
look,
done
the
shit
air's
on
cleared
our
here
show,
now. No more
Yeah.
questions have to be answered. He answered it for us on the podcast. There you go.
And I appreciate you coming to his defense.
Yeah.
And I saw you do a live with him. You're like, yeah, I didn't really like that all that much,
Yeah.
which that's your boy.
Yeah.
And I totally appreciate you defending him.
Mhm.
And again, in the greater context of things, what are we even talking about? Like an argument on a podcast, something that, maybe you shouldn't have said. This isn't real life, serious stuff. We all have stuff in our life that is serious AF. This ain't it. So there's some people out there, I'm going to call out the audience a little bit right there. They're like, oh my God, I'm so offended. I can't believe it's like, toughen up, bro. If this is really what you're sad about or mad about, look in the mirror and figure out what the hell really is valuable in life. Because this ain't it.
Okay.
Fair enough, man. Respect for addressing that. Where are we at here?
DL Saint.
DL Saint says, just wanted to show respect to my guys, Myron, Fresh, Adam, and Pat. I can't watch live. I'm out doing comedy. Pat, is it true you were down to your last 10K before you found success? How did you handle the stress? Keep leading from the front, gentlemen.
Yes. $13,000 is what it was. I came down. We're having a hard time making payroll. The same night I came home, Jen had a miscarriage. I'm outside by myself. It's 1:30 in the morning. I don't have any more money left. I don't know how I'm going to make payroll. Boom. The next week, AIG sends a $100,000 bonus check. We were able to make the payroll, and then obviously from there everything changes. But this is not a one-off story. This is very common with everybody that eventually wins at the highest level. You're going to have stories where you are so close to losing everything. How you handle during those moments dictates how much more pressure you can handle later on. I can tell you when Musk sold PayPal, he got $180 million. On the $180 million, this guy takes $100 million, puts it into SpaceX, takes $70 million, puts it into Tesla, takes $10 million, puts it into solar, and now he's worth a couple $100 billion.
Yeah.
So, he literally went from $170 million, $180 million to being broke again, to not being worth what he is. Oh, he bought Tesla, he bought Twitter. He should have never bought Twitter. $44 billion. When he becomes the first trillionaire in the next 5 years, if he keeps doing what he's doing, everyone's going to say, oh, this guy always got, he always made it to the next level. No, the challenge, you learn a lot about yourself in business, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this as well. When success comes your way and when money comes your way. When money comes your way and you can stop working, how you behave next will really reveal how big you think. If you stop after you make money, it was always about money. If you continue after you make money, it was never about the money. Money was a byproduct.
Mm-hmm.
Can I add to that? Number one, we talked about bigger things in life, bigger issues. You're talking, he's down to his last 13 grand.
yeah.
His wife had a miscarriage. Talk about the fortitude and the mindset to get through stuff like that. That's, I think, what our message is like, you got to keep pushing. Made money. Pat, at this point in his life, doesn't have to be doing podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't want to put your business out there, but he could be retired on a yacht, chilling, but he believes so much in the mission that we're working on at Valuetainment that this guy will not stop. And sometimes you need someone like that in your corner. Me as an example, my goal, I was a former South Beach party nightlife guy, broke as shit, crashing on guys' couches. And I said, wow, one day I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm 35 years old. I'm a millionaire. I'm like, all right, I made it. That's it. That was my goal. That was my dream. Money, chicks, partying, South Beach, done. I did it.
Right.
But sometimes you need someone to look at you and be like, $1 million, buddy.
Yeah.
That's where you're stopping.
Yeah.
That's your vision. That's what you got going on. That's the next level. And so for me to fall in line and gladly be like the Pippin to Jordan, so to speak, it's like, all right, there's so many more levels to get to. Don't stop. And again, to circle back, he could be doing whatever he wants right now. He's still the first one in, kicking ass, taking names, working on podcasts, because he has a vision. We have Valuetainment as a mission, and we want to be the biggest media company in the world. And you want to speak to that a little bit of what your ideas with Burbank and
if you just stay tuned, folks.
It's coming.
You're going to hear announcements being made left and right. I mean, obviously, we made the offer to Tucker. I think once the $100 million offer was made to Tucker, everybody kind of started reaching out. We're looking for talent at the highest level to bring you to Valuetainment. We're looking for a super team to put together. guys who want to have a blast, guys who want to make a lot of money, and guys who want to go out there and run with a group of people. The whole thing about doing something big is finding a group of people to run with. Look at you. Like every time I see you guys, I love seeing the dynamic because, you know, people see from the outside, Myron is playing his role and you have no problem playing your role, but you are just as important to this as he is the guy to this. It's nothing like finding a right running mate. If there's any message to what Adam just said is the following. No matter what you're doing right now, whatever business you're in right now, whether this has been a great start to 2023 for you, you're making a lot of money, or this has been a shitty start to you, you're doing mortgages, you're doing real estate, things are not going your way. A lot of people on mortgage real estate right now are worried about what's going to happen, commercial real estate. No matter what it is, if you're running with the right people and you have the right running mates, future looks bright. If you don't have the right running mates, go either be a great running mate or go find a great running mate. The speed of growth will accelerate in ways words can't describe.
If I could add one thing to that, you know, speaking of running mates, you know, valuetainment. We believe in bringing value, but it needs to be fun. It needs to be entertaining.
Yeah.
To tie into what you guys are doing, Fresh and Fit, you guys have different roles in this. It's so funny because we were talking about you're not going out as much, doing your thing. It's like every time that I see Fresh, it's out in the club. I've seen you at the white party the other night.
Yeah.
11 other places we
But
probably
Fresh is
should.
in love, though. I mean,
Exactly. Well, he's a lover boy.
He's listening to
How often
Jodeci
do I-
right
how
now.
often
He's
do I
listening
see-
to a lot of old school R&B, 80s, Foreigner. I
Some
want to know
Keith
what
Sweat.
love is. He's in a different place.
Oh, there you go. Shout out. George Michael right there. But
That's
you know,
love.
you know how often I see Myron out in the club? Never happened. Zero. I've never seen.
So,
I've
so
seen
you,
Myron.
you guys ever getting married or what? You guys ever going to get married, have kids, family?
Yeah, for sure.
You are.
Multiple wives though.
Multiple wives.
I'll have multiple.
So you're going to go to the Middle East. You're going to do the Middle
Probably,
East.
yeah.
I see.
Right.
Makes
or
sense.
Utah.
Or Utah.
Or Utah. I don't know how many black dudes are out there in Utah, but you'll be like
I'll be the few, like
Yeah.
one.
you'll be like the hot commodity out there.
Pretty much, I'll get one more.
It's like when a black dude goes to Europe
Yo,
and it's all white women. You've been
Bro.
to Europe?
heaven, bro.
Yeah, they're just like, who are you, you black man? Can I touch you, please? You're like, hey, right here.
Pinnacle
Join
of
the
wealth
Fresh
over there.
committee.
chocolate. But what ended up? Sorry, you were saying something. I didn't want to.
No, that's it. I'm just saying. I see.
Okay.
All I do is whenever I see him, it's out nightlife, a little bit on the internet. I only see you on a podcast or on the internet.
Pretty much.
But that's your guys' roles. That's so funny. It's not like we went to the UFC fight the other night.
Mhm.
Joe Rogan, who's become a good friend of yours at this point, invited Pat and the Valuetainment team. We went down there, got us great seats. You were there.
Yeah.
And afterwards, talking about valuetainment, Pat went home to his wife, lovely wife, Jen, and kids, and I went out to 11 and partied all night with Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
And was out there doing our thing. So, you know, running mates can't be exactly the same, gentlemen.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're out in the club and Myron's out in the club, no, that
Facts.
keep Myron in the studio with these women.
Yeah.
You go out the club, I'll see you out there. Keep Pat being the family man, the business, the entrepreneur, and I'll do my part
you
out
guys
there.
will eventually all wake up next to a wife with kids running up to you. It's just a matter of time. It may be
Yeah.
3, 5, 10 years. This thing's going to change from fresh and fit to fatherhood and marriage.
By the way,
Maybe.
that is a goal. That is a dream of mine. It's so funny because you've used this analogy.
Yeah.
Pat says that I'm being tugged. On this side, he's built
Yeah.
a whole business based on couples, by the way.
Right.
His company, PHP, recently
There's
sold.
too
exit.
much risk in being
Yeah.
single and not having kids.
Yeah.
Way too much risk.
It does stabilize you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what happened? What ended up happening with the Tucker Carlson situation? Because I did see that all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, so we made the offer. We spoke to their camp, and we had a lengthy conversation multiple times.
Mhm.
And eventually, he has his deal with Fox. They have all these non-competes of where he can and
Yeah.
can't go.
Yeah.
So he's still with Fox. He's still apparently under the contract with
I heard about
Fox.
that.
And so the safest place for him to go to is to go to Twitter. He can do whatever he's doing with the new subscription model with Elon.
Yeah.
And I think the timing of it was so interesting because literally when they fired him, just 3 weeks prior to that, he had Elon Musk on the podcast.
Yeah.
So think about, he gets fired. Probably one of the first phone calls is, hey, this is Elon's phone call.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Elon calls and say, Tucker, what do you need? Okay. And he says, I don't know. Let me make a suggestion to you what I would do if I were you. Boom, boom, boom. Bring it to Twitter. We'll give you 100% commission, 90% commission, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And I think Tucker went that route. I think a lot of people are going to make different moves. You know what season we're in? You know, Oklahoma land rush when everybody was running to get their own piece of land. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to plant my flag. This is our land. Here's what we're going to be doing.
Mhm.
In the media space right now, there is a massive disruption going on right now. Just in 2016, 70% of Americans watch cable TV. Just in 2016. Today, it's at 40%.
Right.
From
believe it.
70 to 40%. Today, things have changed where a guy named Elon Musk bought Twitter. Fox News' viewership has dropped nearly 60% since Tucker left. And not just his show. Every show, Hannity's shows took a hit. Morning shows taking a hit. Everybody's there taking a hit. You know what's going on with CNN? CNN's biggest hit that they had was a CNN town hall with Trump. Then you see what's going on with Rumble. Rumble, Chris doing a great job. Chris and I spoke here today.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job. He just brought David Sachs on the board. And that's a big deal. My thought is long-term, eventually, I think Twitter may make a decision to do something with Rumble. Who knows if that's going to happen or not? I've been saying this on the podcast for the last few weeks, but I think there's a major competition going on right now in the media space. Everyone's competing. And then what will happen is, it's like the best way to describe it is when the NBA had a year where there was so many free agencies of major players.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, that's a good super team. Those guys ended up together. Damn, look at those guys over there. Wow, they got Dang, and they got a $120 million contract. That's a terrible player they got there. That's not a good contract. You kind of seen that taking place. We're also talking to a lot of people, seeing what's going to happen. But the reality of it is the following. If you go back 10 years ago on YouTube and you were to ask, who was the biggest player on YouTube in 2013? Definitely wasn't you guys, because you guys even weren't doing anything then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in college.
So think about it. Who was the biggest player in 2013?
Yeah.
There's a lot of names.
Yeah.
Okay. What are they doing today? Okay. Who was the biggest player in 2018? What are they doing today? Who are the biggest players today? You don't know if they're going to be around 5 years from now.
Yeah.
10 years from now. This is a 20-year run of this space. Eventually, running a business is so flipping hard. Keeping people on a topic consistently relevant is so hard. You may be on a ride of a great topic and people are really curious about that topic, and then all of a sudden disappears, that guy loses it. And then that's when you're like, oh shit. You know, when Rogan was talking about legalizing marijuana and then there was no more legalizing marijuana, there was a lot of podcasts, that's all they ever talked about, legalizing marijuana. They flatline because they're not multidimensional.
Yeah.
Then you see Rogan now is talking about UFC. He's not talking about JFK. He's not talking about this. Rogan is so multidimensional that no matter where you put him, he's going to be relevant. But a lot of people got filtered out. So the next 10 years, it's going to be a lot of people that think they're big shots today. In the next 10 years, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of mix-ups. And then you'll see those guys are disciplined. Respect to those guys. Wow, I never thought they're going to go talk about these topics. That's kind of weird how those guys teamed up. He went to that company. Good for him. Wow, that was a terrible partnership. Phenomenal partnership. This is what's going to happen now. Look at Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Nets, they're going to win 3 championships, 0. James Harden and Joel Embiid, they're going to win 2 championships, 0. All of these mix-up that happens, sometimes there's not chemistry. You can't force chemistry. You can go to another company. Like right now, what a lot of people are doing is the following. They're taking money. You know what's the same thing as you taking money? It's when somebody marries somebody for money, but there's no chemistry. Maybe you can do it for a year. Maybe you can do it for 3 years. Maybe you can do it for 5 years. You're not going to be able to do it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And if you do it for 10 years, there's somebody else out there. So today it's purely about chemistry, vision, talent, running mates. And I think the next 12, 24, 36 months will say a lot about the media space.
Damn, Dr. Marco.
Yeah, that was fucking lit. I want to say this though real fast. Because I didn't want to stop you. Was Valuetainment on that non-compete list?
We were not.
Carlson?
No, because we're
You guys
small.
weren't. Okay.
We're a small new media company. So nobody looks at us as any kind of a threat
Yeah.
That's good though.
whatsoever. Yeah.
Which is good
For now.
which is good because I will say this, man. I've tuned into a bunch of your guys' PBD podcasts. You guys have had some like great interviews, and I could foresee like you guys in the future definitely competing with a Fox or a CNN, etc. Because let's be honest here, mainstream media, just like you said with the numbers don't lie. People don't trust the media anymore, right? Ever since Trump went around back and saying like,
You are fake news.
people were like, yo, this shit isn't real. Like, this is bullshit, right? And we've seen CNN take an epic L. I was going to ask you guys about the Trump town hall, actually. What were your thoughts on that?
I think he crushed it. I mean, if you think about it, he got exactly what he wanted. Whether you liked him or not, every time he said something, The audience is clapping. We're like, wait,
Yeah.
what? And then she kept getting more and more and more irritated. And then he kept getting more and more and more cool. And there was like, you know how you do a 2-hour podcast and you're like, man, we got only 3 short clips out of this one.
Yeah.
And then you'll do a 1-hour podcast and you're like, dude, we got 9 short clips out of this one. You know how many short clips Trump got from that town hall in 60 minutes?
Yeah.
40, 30? It's like, well, what would you do? How come you didn't do that? Well, because I'm not the president. Okay, what would you do? Because I'm not the president. Ha ha. Hey, so you know what? Let me take these tweets out. These are all moments that go viral. I think it was a hit for him. Now the question is going to come up with him and DeSantis of them trolling DeSantis over and over and over and over and over. Is that going to be the right strategy with DeSantis, who is liked and respected? I don't know. It's different when you're trolling somebody on the opposite side that is not liked and respected. You can do that all day long. Like Hillary Clinton wasn't liked or wasn't respected. So people love that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you do that model with a DeSantis who is respected in Florida, we're going to find out in the next 6 or 9 months if that's going to work or not. But this is it's already started to be a very competitive, ugly fight. And I think by the time it's over with, whoever ends up winning primary, they're already going to have so many other clips that Democrats going to be using for the general election. It's going to be wild. But I think for somebody that enjoys competition, this is going to be very competitive.
I mean, do you think the Democrats stand a chance? I think that no matter what, like the next president's going to be a Republican.
You
There's
can
no way.
never underestimate. So that's the problem I think that Republicans have is they look, for me in business, my mother's personality and my dad's personality, we're talking about it today in the house. You know the mindset of establishment and anti-establishment, okay?
Yeah.
The personality of a Republican, a true Republican, maybe a capitalist and a communist, okay? That's probably a better example. So the establishment's mindset is who? They want to know everything you're doing. The establishment is that girl you date that's like, where were you at? Who was up? Who's calling you? Why is that a call from a block number? Why didn't you answer it? Respond back to that text. What was that call about? That's the establishment. They want to know everything about what you're doing. So you're like so freaking annoying, right? The anti-establishment girl you date is like, hey, babe, I got to step out and take this call. Oh, okay. It's probably his brother. It's fine. Hey, babe, I got to go to the store to get something. I'll be back. Okay, no problem. Go for it. Do your thing. The establishment girl's going to be like, why do you have to go see somebody at 10:30? Are you going to go see a girl FaceTime me? Where are you? So they're so hovering over you. So the Republican side, the conservative side, is not overly paranoid.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
The left is so overly paranoid and willing to get deceptive and dark. The right's not willing to do that at their levels. Again, this is purely anti-establishment and establishment. So I think only the paranoid survive. We'll see how paranoid Republicans will be on this one. It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
I think
That's a good take.
that town hall, it was funny because it made Trump look good, right? And then it's funny too because he had just lost that civil suit with that woman for the sexual assault / grape or whatever, allegedly, which I actually went and read through that legal document. It's written not even like a legal document, it's written like a book. It's hilarious. It's like literally written like, on this day, Trump met her at this store and he sexually assaulted her. And I was like, what the fuck? Is this a legal document? Like whatever. And I read it on air a couple weeks ago. And after looking at like hundreds of legal documents, I was like amazed that this thing actually made it through as an actual complaint for a lawsuit, and they found in her favor. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? But he got indicted by the state of New York, right, for falsifying business records. He got found liable, right, which everyone says he got found guilty, which being found liable and guilty are two different things for the morons out there in a civil case. And he's still been going up in the polls. So it's like they're trying everything in their power to make him look bad, put him in jail, but it's not working.
Do you remember when the UFC fight, right? Trump walked in.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting to see the response of people, how they're going to react to him, right? Because of the whole indictment, all that stuff. And people loved him, bro.
Like right after he got
they
indicted.
Legit stood up,
Lost
shouted
their
from
minds.
the top of their lungs. Dude, the people love Trump.
I want to say something. I want to get your thoughts,
Yeah,
both of your thoughts. I got one question I want to ask you, and I want to see what you'll say to this.
Mm.
Okay. Myron, Fresh, tell me the 10 organizations or individuals who have ruined America since November of 1963. Let me say that one more time. Give me institutions, organizations, or individual families who have ruined or sold America since November of 1963. Okay, so for example, if you want to look at examples, you could say CIA, you can say DOJ, you can say FBI. Give me 10 organizations, institutions, families, names who have destroyed America since November of 1963.
You want us to get canceled, bro?
You want to
Okay.
go first?
Them boys. No, but to be serious, I would say Adam Weintop and his secret order.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, I would say Bilderberg Group.
Okay.
Number three, I don't want to be too much in the truth factor, conspiracy factor here, but I would say Monsanto.
By the way, none of us are saying there's no one 100%. We're purely speculating is what we're saying. So it's an opinion.
And then if I'm going to be funny here, but be truthful, them boys, which is, you know what I'm saying?
They don't know what you mean by that.
Oh,
but
is it the 3-letter alphabet type people? Who's them boys? Okay.
This guy.
Okay.
Okay.
I got you. Okay.
And then
certain ones.
Yeah, certain ones.
Yeah,
The
certain
Epstein
ones.
connections, you're saying?
There you go.
Yeah.
And
I'm one of them boys, so I can.
you're
I
cool
can
one of them
speak to
boys.
this.
You're cool one of them boys.
Well, it depends on where you're going with that, but the
I'm curious. Let them keep going.
go
I
ahead.
actually want to hear it. Keep going.
but so you want 10 or you want?
Yeah, just give me names. Any one of them. You can. Myron can say few. You can say few. Folks watching can say few.
I'm trying to survive a couple of years. So I don't want to say too many things I know, but I'll just say like another group I would say is actually very close to home, and it's actually going to be the CIA.
Okay.
And then number 6, let's go with the government itself.
Okay.
And then number
But
7,
who from the government? Like any specific or
I would say the ones you don't see, the ones that are pulling the strings behind the scenes,
such as?
the secret government, which is basically going to be like basically the World Bank.
Okay.
To me, they control things, but not directly. So whatever they say goes is going to be based on, because they control the money. So whatever they say must go
What
on
else?
some level. That's it for me. I don't want to say
Myron,
too
what
much.
would you say?
Oh shit.
Before
All
Myron goes on Twitch.
Yeah, kill Twitch, kill Facebook, kill Twitter. Oh man.
Okay,
so
hold on.
because
Special
All right,
note:
Go ahead.
the Rothschilds,
Okay.
and I would say,
I had that written down.
Oh, for
motherfucker.
real?
You see it on my
damn,
notebook?
no, I didn't see it.
Okay, all right.
And then the Federal Reserve.
Okay. That was one of yours.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, the
Fed.
Fed is definitely.
Oh,
we put
and
that
then-
in there.
To add insult to injury, you know who I'm going to say? Satanists.
Okay.
Satanists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I would say, because we're going to talk about, because very specific, you said November of 1963. That's when
November
Kennedy was
1st.
assassinated.
But he was
Right.
still alive.
The
November
22nd.
1st, he's
Yeah,
alive.
Okay. 22nd, he was killed. We all know the 3 people that were involved in Kennedy being killed were them boys, if
Them
you know what I'm
boys.
talking about,
Ka-ching.
which I won't say because we're on YouTube, the CIA, and organized crime, namely La Cosa Nostra and obviously the Jewish mafia as well
Okay.
was involved, right? So I would say CIA, Rothschilds, the Bureau, the FBI, especially nowadays, with them being used as a political
Damn.
law enforcement agency, the Sunborn Group, the music industry,
That's huge.
propagating a bunch of bullshit, destroying the family unit, the Fed, and
Wait, weren't you the feds?
the Federal Reserve.
I was gonna say.
Nice one. We're actually at HSI. We weren't as bureaucratic as FBI.
Okay.
And what else? I would say that's what I have in my head right now that I could think of. And the Clintons. Clintons were definitely involved in some bullshit. Yeah, and then, I mean, it's been declassified now. We know for absolute fact that the Mossad and Saudi Arabia were involved in 9/11. That's not even a speculation anymore.
So these are all names that you have opinion, thoughts. It's not 100% except for the last one that you were saying, but that's what you're saying. Okay, so here's a question I got follow for both of you guys.
Okay.
Which of those institutions, organizations, families supported and loved the Kennedy family and the Trump family?
Oh. I see what you did there.
sir.
Yeah. Good job.
So you know what the moral of the story here is?
Yes.
Why don't they? Why don't you like those two families? What do those two families do that you don't like? Why did you have such a problem with Joseph Kennedy? Why do you have such a problem with this guy here? You were cool with him. You know, one of the things that Trump just released is a new book that just came out about, he released. I don't know if you've seen this book or not. It's all letters that was written to him. So Oprah Winfrey writes a letter saying, hey, listen, I want to tell you, as busy as you are, thank you so much for making us feel so special. Hey, Alec Baldwin, hey, thank you so much. For a guy as busy as you and as tough as you are in New York, when it comes down to it, you're such a nice guy. And thank you for letting me use your penthouse suite in New York. All these letters he released from all the celebrities. It's like, what happened? All you guys loved me until the day I ran. So the part that concerns me is the following. Indirectly, whether we know this or not, independent content creators that are pushing against the envelope, you're part of the anti-establishment crowd. Whether you know this or not, we're anti-establishment. Just because we're not going the traditional route, okay? The establishment is who? The journalists that went to Columbia University and they're reading the script and the teleprompter tells them what to say and they say it. Or somebody tells them in their earpiece what to say. Is somebody telling you in your ear what to say? We don't have that. That's not our model, right? Yeah. We don't have teleprompters. There's not a teleprompter here for Fresh to read what he's doing. You're letting your rip. So for me, and the people out there that are watching this, the question you have to ask yourself is the following. Do you want to have, because we all fall under one of three categories. We're either part of the oblivious crowd. The oblivious crowd is a crowd that doesn't know anything. Yeah. I'll never forget this. I told the story the other day. I have an uncle named Albert. Albert's a Syrian. He's my dad's best friend. I hope he feels better. He would come to our house when we lived in Granada Hills. I'm 21 years old, 22 years old. And he loved watching Bernie Mac from Kings of Comedy. I don't know if you've seen that, the skit. Bernie Mac, 6-year-old, right? Yeah. He would sit there and he would say, can you put on that man? I love listening to that man. He would sit there, laugh for 30 minutes, tears coming down his eyes, cracking up. And I would say, Albert, do you understand what Bernie Mac said? He didn't speak English. I have no idea what he said. I said, so why are you laughing? He says, he's so funny. I said, but what did he just say? I have no clue. We're in the kitchen. My dad told me the most incredible thing. We're in the kitchen, and my dad says, hey, Patrick, I want to warn you on something. He says, what's that? You know all these books you keep reading? He says, yes. I said, let me tell you what happens. He says, yeah, let me tell you what happens if you keep reading these books. I said, what's that? He says, the more you read, the less you're going to be as happy as that innocent man right there is. That man right there knows nothing. He just wants to have good food, good conversation, have people around him. He is so innocent, so happy that we all need a little bit more of that.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's also the innocent and the happy that don't do the reading that the other control, the establishment.
Yes.
So you're either part of the oblivious crowd where you're like, I don't need to know this kind of stuff. I don't care what they do. I don't care. No problem. It's part of your risk that you take. Or you're part of the establishment crowd. You're like, man, I want people to make decisions for me. You tell me how to live my life. You tell me what school to go to. You tell me my kids need to learn at school. You just determine the curriculum. You tell me everything that's good for me. Or then there's the anti-establishment. The anti-establishment is the crowd that says what? They say, you know what? Can I ask why we're teaching that? Yeah. Why are we increasing taxes in this area? Any reason why we are making the corporate taxes something that's going to be the same worldwide? Why are we all agreeing to make it 15%? Why? Can't we compete for other countries? Why are we doing this? The anti-establishment people are the most annoying people in the world. You know why? Because all they do is ask questions. And there's nothing more annoying to the establishment than those who ask questions.
Some people might say that what that is also called is getting red pilled.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So whether it's politically, whether it's in relationships, it's like the understanding of like everything that you thought that you knew, maybe it ain't that true. Everything that the government told you, everything that we learned during the last couple of years, hey, you can trust this, trust the science, trust Fauci, trust whatever. Who got canceled? People asking questions. Yeah, I don't know about this.
Where's that mask?
Hold on. You're telling me the Wuhan lab? Mm-hmm. What? We can't talk about this lab leak? Well, okay. Yeah. You can't talk about the mask thing? You can't talk about, hold on, women are supposed to be, everything nice, sugar and spice and everything nice. Hold on, we can't hold these women accountable? Hold on, women deserve less? Why? Why is that? This is getting red pill. So in many facets, what we talk about is becoming a free thinker.
So I was, when you were talking about John F. Kennedy and Trump and the similarities, I mean, let's talk about John F. Kennedy real quick. He's real big going against organized crime. He's made his brother the attorney general. He was against the military-industrial complex. He was critical of a certain state that I won't name that potentially, well, actually not potentially, it's actually factual at this point. They stole the nuclear bomb from the United States. They took a bunch of uranium out of Pennsylvania and they shipped it through South America, destined for a certain place, if you know what I'm talking about.
Wink,
wink, which we can't say here on YouTube. And Kennedy was very involved in having them checked for having nuclear weapons. And Next thing you know, he gets killed, right? And then you got Trump, who's not a politician. He's a businessman first. So he's obviously more interested in getting things efficient versus necessarily making everybody feel good. He has his own money, so he doesn't need people to lobby for him to the same degree as other politicians, AIPAC. And at the end of the day, he knows that, the White House and the government in general is filled with the swamp. That's why I called the swamp, and I'm going to drain it. So, is he completely innocent of other, 100% innocent? No, but he's better than a lot of these other politicians. And I would say those are some of the similarities between the two. They kind of went against the grain, and, that's why Kennedy got killed. So
just to add to what you said earlier, whenever you speak, Patrick, you have so much knowledge, man. It's a breath of fresh air. Like, you just speak and it's just like amazing. By the way, but in your opinion though, right? Do you think voting for someone makes sense? Knowing what you know about the agenda behind the scenes, does it even make sense, or is it already decided, do you think?
No. You can't have that mindset. See that? So to me, it's funny you say that question. We're having a conversation the other day where a person says, well, why even do this? Because the election's already determined. They already know who's going to be the president. They already know who's going to be that. All of those, every statement and word we use carries weight. Meaning, if you were to compare 10 different people and you listen to their words, there is a way to test how many words they use that carries weight. Somebody that uses low-level conversations, that's a low-level conversation. If you hear somebody that's talking with conviction and you actually unpack the way they talk, you're like, okay, this is how that person talks. It's crisp. The points being made. It makes sense. It's delivered. I receive it. I process it. He makes me think about it, and I go from there, right? Okay. That statement about saying, well, is it even worth me voting? I said that before. I said this 8 years ago. What's the point of voting? 10 years ago. But that is a helpless statement. That is a statement that we can't do nothing about it. So it makes us actually not want to do anything. Like, by the way, we had Rudy Giuliani on the podcast. We had a very heated moment for 30 minutes. Very. You were sitting there. He was not happy with me. We went back and forth. You know what the conversation was all around? They stole the election. You know what happens when you say stuff like that? Here's what happens when you say stuff like that. People don't want to show up because they're like, yeah, I was going to go vote. And you know what, babe? They're going to steal the election anyways. Why go vote? I'm not going to go vote. Versus my way I would take it is, guys, whether they're going to do it or they're not going to do it. Let's say they are going to do it. Here's what I would do. If you really are sick and tired of policies, don't go vote by yourself. Take two people with you. So do not go by yourself. Say, hey, Joey, Larry, Jack, let's go vote. Hey, Mary, Bobby, Jennifer, let's go vote. Don't go by yourself. Take other people with you. And then when you're driving to the place to vote, talk to them. What do you think? Are you going to go this way? Are you going to go that way? What are you thinking about voting for? Do not go and have that mindset of helpless. I think right now, with everything that's going on, there's never been a time in the history of our era. I'm 44 years old. You're what, 28 to 30 years old. So 44 years old. There's never been time for us to actually make the decision where who we elect is going to be important, because more and more and more controls going the other way. Let me kind of unpack one of the things that's going on with, are you guys following this ESG, CEI, DEI stuff? Do you want to kind of get into that a little bit?
We could definitely get into it. Absolutely. Yeah. And speaking of which, real quick before you get into it, they went after Rudy Giuliani as well. This is a guy that put La Cosa Nostra, finally put them in prison thanks to the racketeering laws, right? He cleaned up the city of New York in the 90s, right, when he was elected mayor. But they went after him as well. Why? Because he aligns himself with Trump.
Yeah. The one question that I wanted to ask Rudy Giuliani was, look, 9/11 happened. We remember that.
Yep.
All right.
For sure. Shout out to Ryan Dawson, by the way. We did a
I saw that podcast, actually.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the Whitney Webb that we had on recently.
Who's that?
Nah, he's a pioneer. She took his stuff. Just saying.
Who's that?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he was the one that said it first.
I'm just saying, kind of
Who's the name?
Ryan
Dawson.
Oh, okay.
He's a good fan.
One of the original guys that brought out a lot of the information on 9/11 and stuff like that, but he pretty much got canceled in 06, like MySpace days.
Oh wow!
For putting it out because he was drawing the connections between Saudi Arabia and them boys, if you know what I'm saying, being involved in 9/11. And no offense to Whitney Webb, she's great too, but I've seen a lot of similarities in her work to his.
Yeah,
gotcha.
By the way, let me tell you this here. Whether you're the first one, the second one, the third one, or the 40th one, we need more of them. We need more people like that to go. What's this gentleman's name? Said Dawson?
Ryan Dawson.
Ryan Dawson. Good for you. Whitney Webb, good for you.
Mhm.
And if you don't know about either one of them, go study them, and then you go do your own investigation on whatever it is and write about it. We need more Whitney Webbs and folks like Ryan.
I agree. I just wish people would pay homage because once again, having a source, having someone that actually did the work, pay no acknowledgement to the person because they put in the work first.
He put out a lot of the information first, like way before, like because I mean, you know,
Does she or
way
no?
before.
Does she give him credit or no?
No.
I've never seen her. Give
Okay, I'm not aware of the story. What I
But
do
he's
is
the
I
originator.
receive the content
Mhm.
and a message to get me thinking, and I think Whitney
it.
does a great job
No, I
delivering the
don't blame you
message.
because he's been banned everywhere. You can't
Yeah,
find
wow.
him.
Can't
You
find him.
literally
Listen,
can't
if you
find
get
Ryan
banned
anywhere.
on MySpace, you're like you're an OG of OGs,
Yeah,
right?
dude,
I know
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But
Respect.
to that, you know,
Sorry.
the famous quote, what is it? Isaac Newton, we stand on the shoulders of giants. It might not be Newton. I don't know. Some of them are sure roast me. Oh, you got it wrong, Sal. But everyone comes from something. Everyone takes their something, like you guys in the red pill space. Let's say that's, I know, the controversial word these days, according to the FBI.
It is, yeah.
But I know you give homage to Rolo. You give homage to certain other people out there,
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels, everything like that. But everyone comes from something. Back to the Rudy point. Everyone asks, like, what was he like? What was Rudy like? The guy's together. He's got his mindset right. He's got his lady friend that he travels with. He's got his thing going on with that. People think that he's lost his mind. No, he has certain convictions that he will not
break.
He will not break those whatsoever. And I asked him on the podcast, I said, Rudy, you were America's mayor during 9/11. Everyone loved you. Like, your approval ratings were the highest in the country.
Yep.
How do you feel having this legacy that has been tarnished? You know, and he's like, I don't give a shit about my legacy. I'm standing up for what I believe in. And there's something to be said with that, whether you agree with someone like Rudy Giuliani or not. And, you know, the whole election denial thing, I don't think is a winning message, like Pat mentioned.
They cancel you for even mentioning it.
Yeah,
but I don't forget about the canceling part. I don't care about the canceling part. What I care about is that a message of a winner? It's not. The message of a winner is what? Like, okay, Jimmy Butler lost, okay? Game 6. I'm at the game courtside. I'm watching this thing. The place is like, he hits the third free throw. This is game over with. There's 2.4 seconds left. They add 0.6 seconds. Well, that's not a big deal. It's totally fine. Don't call it time. I do anything with it. That 0.6 seconds they added is the reason why they lost. Duncan Robinson misses 2 3-pointers. Wide open. He hits one of them. It's game over, right? Jimmy Butler in the interview. Here's what he says. Well, first of all, we would have won if I would have played a better game. We would have won if I would have played a better game. There's something so attractive about a guy with that kind of a mindset. That is a very, very attractive mindset. Michael had it. Kobe had it. I'm a diehard Laker fan. I'm not rooting for the Lakers simply because the guy that's there right now, it's just, he posted a story today on Instagram talking about, you guys will remember, I don't even know why you don't have me at my number one. Wait till I leave the game. Then you'll realize, who says stuff like that? It's just, that's somebody that needs attention. How much more attention do you need? You're LeBron James. You don't need to be bitch about something like that. It's just not attractive. It's a weak quality of a leader. That is the only part when I say about this. But if you want to transition into the other topic with what's going on with Butler,
by the way, the Heat are playing tonight. Let's all just say a moment for the.
I think the game starts in 10 minutes.
Oh, for real?
So,
Okay.
Two to the chats real quick. 8:30.
And
What? Was that Chris?
yeah, chats first.
Chats real quick.
Okay.
Piling up.
All right, I'll read them real quick, and because we already got almost 10,000 people in here. So, guys, we're gonna go ahead. I'll read from this point forward, I'm only gonna read 50 and up.
And chat, by the way, he meant pause too.
What was that?
Patrick, because he said that Jimmy was attractive.
Yeah, pause.
Yeah, pause.
Man, if you
But-
man, grow up, man. Grow up, man.
You know what's funny?
I was
gonna say that, but I was like, man.
Come on, man. Grow up,
I'm saying
guys.
you call
Grow
them
up.
attractive,
Grow
so
up,
the
man.
children
This is
out
a
there,
conversation.
the children out there are gonna say,
Come on, man.
new conspiracy thing's gonna be launched. Pat thinks Jimmy Butler's attractive.
That's that's for after hours.
Tell you what.
well, believe it or not, that actually increased your ESG score.
Yes.
As people think, I
100%.
said Jimmy Butler's attractive.
By the way,
Come
if
on,
the Heat
man.
win tonight and Jimmy does his part,
Yeah.
he's attractive as hell in my mind. Don't
There
worry
you
about
go.
that, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go
that might
Heat.
need a pause.
High IQ.
Okay. King Life, to the primitive lesbian and milkman in Canada, I said this at the 1 million party. I'll take Fresh's spot to fight you. Oh, looking Bish and Myron can beat the milkman down. Okay, I know what he means
Is
by
that-
that.
Can I ask you a question on
Yeah,
that?
sure.
This is, you've got multiple nicknames for these two gentlemen,
Yeah.
right? I've had one of the gentlemen on my show before.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that is your biggest target? Like, is that who you have the most beef with up there? The two gentlemen up in Canada.
I don't even care about him. It's Abba that I have the problem.
It's the
with.
other one.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never met him.
Yeah,
I've never spoken with him.
Because he basically he's smart. He went ahead and deflected his problem onto Preach, right?
Yeah.
But I have an issue with Abba because he sat in that same seat, looked me in the face.
Yeah.
We shook hands. We had a great conversation. Everything was squashed. And after the fact, he wants to go ahead and make a video talking shit about us, right? Saying that we're liars and we're cappers and we don't have integrity and all this other stuff. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, hold on one second. We've already talked about using sugar sites to get girls. We've already talked about some of these things. So, and then you're making these allegations about me DMing some girl on Instagram, but you didn't have the full conversation. And when I did put it out, he didn't retract those statements that he made. He went ahead and doubled down, try to call me a rapist or whatever. So I have an issue with him. Not necessarily, I don't care about Preach. I don't know him. It is what it is. I have the issue with Preach with Abba, and he's going to say, oh, well, I don't owe you any allegiance because we're not friends or whatever. Well, you know, you got my number. You got my contact information. Why not hit me up before you make that hit piece after you hang out with a guy and spend time in his home and he opens up his home to you? I mean, I'd look at it like that's just the common decency thing to you, a little bit of professional courtesy, but they didn't exercise that.
That's a lost art.
That's like me making a video about you guys after y'all invited me up to Fort Lauderdale and saying, oh, yeah, those guys, they're a bunch of cappers, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't call or consult with you beforehand. I would never do that. Even if I had an issue. I mean, we've had disagreements before, right, Adam? Always offline, never on the internet, ever. So it's like, what the hell? You know, you couldn't give me that courtesy after you come here. So that's why I don't respect them.
What do you think their message is? Because it's obviously everyone has a message. I generally don't know what their message is. So I'm asking an open-ended question. What do you think their intentions are? Their messages are? I know they get a lot of views. What do you think that they're solving for?
No, it's comedy. On a lower level, it's more a reaction channel, but it's comedy to a person that doesn't have much going on in life, and they want to have an enjoyment to escape the real world. I would say. So that means, for example, it is comedy, but at what cost? Do you get anything? No. A quick laugh and then it's done.
You become a better man listening to them. The answer is no. They're not teaching you how to make more money. They're not teaching you about what's going on in the world for real. You know what I mean? They give their little reactions to it, but are they teaching you how to overcome it? Are they teaching you how to become more attractive to girls, make more money, get in shape, etc.? No. It's just a way for you to unplug kind of from the shitty situation that you're in, watch them talk shit and be like, oh, well, I felt good for about 9 minutes. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my shitty life versus giving solutions. Over here, we're big on giving solutions. Yeah. So that's my thing is when you're a reaction channel, by default of you being a reaction channel, you can't take a stance. And when you can't take a stance and you can't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, which is why they're always in the wind, switching their situation, trying to go ahead and get AdSense revenue, talking shit about the new content creator. And I heard they're going to make a video responding. And I don't give a fuck what they say. Tell me why you're a snake. If you can answer me why you're a snake, I'd love that. But
Promise,
they're not going to.
They can't.
I'd be happy to have a conversation with Abba in person, but he would never do that.
Could you imagine someone coming to your podcast,
they already
right?
dropped it, Mo?
And then making fun of you guys behind your back and then laughing about it and trying everyone, yeah, bro, they're fake. They don't really do what they do. And don't listen to them or their advice. How would you feel?
I don't know the context behind this. Is their YouTube channel themselves? It's a comedy YouTube channel,
a reaction channel.
But so you have to realize there's a lot of different ways people create content. One of the ways of doing it is to create controversy to get more people to come, and then to get you to react to them. And then that's a way of bringing eyeballs back to them to collect the super chat. Some people make money like that, but long term, that's not sustainable. Long term, that's not sustainable. You have to be able to once again, I don't know who these guys are. You have to be able to deliver value or entertainment consistently and stay true to your audience, or else eventually people are going to be saying, yeah, this was good for a year, 2 years, 3 years, they're out.
Let me ask you, at this point, do you think that you're, I say, don't punch down, you should only punch up. Do you think that you're punching down at this point? Because you guys have surpassed them. I don't know. I mean, I'm not talking about the actual subscribers. I'm not focused on that. I'm saying influence and meetups and everything that you guys are doing and helping lives and delivering value and really helping men the most. Do you think you're punching down at this point? It's just like, all right, just fuck these guys, keep it moving? Or is it something that you still want to address?
No, I mean, it's at this point, it's principle. But yeah, it is definitely punching down because we've definitely saved way more lives than they have. We've created more impact than they have. That's a fact. That's not even me just like talking shit. That's just...
All we want is a conversation as men. Sit down, talk to us in person, because on the internet you can say whatever you want, but they won't. I mean, of course.
They're gonna go ahead and do a bunch of jump cuts, whatever. I already see that they made a video. They're gonna make it a joke or whatever, which is cool.
2 hours ago.
Go ahead, but it is what it is. Where we at here?
Jeremy.
That's how they deflect from reality. PBD, how important is loyalty, integrity in business? Also, do you think it's too late to start a business in your 30s? Huge fan, by the way.
Very important. And no, 30 is not. There's not an age that's late. As long as you can walk, talk, you have energy, and you're excited about a vision, you can start it at 60 years old. I mean, nowadays we're living a long time. But let me answer the first one to you. There was a book I read about CEOs. If you want to know more about it, if you tweet me, I'll get the link and I'll put it out there for people to see it. It talks about like 5 qualities CEOs need that people have before they become CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. Okay, qualities that they have before they become Fortune 500 CEOs. So guys that are moving up in a company, like all of a sudden this guy was a 22-year-old working at McDonald's, now he's a CEO. How did that happen? The number one quality that these people have was reliability. Reliability. You're on time. You show up. You're dependable. You get things done. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. An element of reliability is loyalty. So in the game of business, especially nowadays, I had breakfast with Tommy Mottola in New York 2 days ago. Okay, if you don't know who Tommy Mottola is, you know, Mariah Carey, Thalia, he's a
Huge
godfather of
music
Sony. He took Sony from $600 million a year to $8 billion a year. He signed Michael Jackson. He signed Hall & Oates. I don't know if you know or not. Hall & Oates, he wrote a song about him.
Wow.
If you know Hall & Oates, like this guy's been on since 1975. The guy's a stud of a guy. He's one of those top 5 heavyweights in music industry. Is Tommy Mottola. And he said, Patrick, one of the things when I built Sony, we built it with 6 killers that we had. He says, the hardest thing about finding killers today are more for sale than they were back in the days. Back in the days, there was such thing as loyalty. Today, somebody makes a better offer, they're gone, they go to a different place.
Right.
He says, but if you can find guys that buy into the vision long-term, and they're reliable, and they're dependable, figure out a way to do whatever you can to take care of those guys as well, if they show that quality.
Let me add one thing to this, because it's so true about loyalty. One of the things that I always like saying is sometimes that your best ability is your availability. We all know you have those type of people in your life. They're like, they might not be the most talented. You ever see the Simon Sinek, who you trust versus skill matrix? You ever seen that? Where they interviewed Navy SEALs? Of what type of people you want to roll with. The people with the most skill or who you trust the most, right? And it wasn't even a question. They would take trust over skill any day of the week, because you can't buy trust, loyalty, availability. So there's back to the men out here. It's like, you might not be the best at what you do, but if you keep showing up day in and day out, that's loyalty right there. That's a sort of a derivative of loyalty. Like with Pat, once the opportunity, what do they say that luck is when opportunity meets preparation?
Hard work, yeah.
I moved to Dallas. You're right. I had so much stuff going on in Miami. He says, what do you want to do? I said, I'm just making myself 100% available. I moved to Dallas, the lovely town of Addison.
The nightlife in Dallas is 10 times better than Miami. I'm sure you know that. It's like the freaking
if you can't speak sarcasm,
Yard House is insane.
Okay.
Walmart aisle 17, the best looking women are there.
Yeah, In-N-Out Burger on Beltline Road. Forget about it. The Walmart.
He's trolling.
Yeah, trolling a little bit right
trolling, man.
But I just made myself 100% available, and that's what I think a lot of young people need to do right now is just understand who can you align with, who can you make yourself available to, and don't fucking stop. Don't leave. Don't look for another job. Don't take the easy way out. Don't try to get clicks real quick. Don't try to make easy money. What are the things you always say? Easy money comes with fast money comes with slow problems. 100,000,000%. And it's kind of like we talked about with the YouTubers. It's play the long game. So we're all going to have ups and downs, but if you play the long game and if you extrapolate, not have a myopic view and not look past 6, 12, 18 months, go into the future, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the freaking road. Where do you want to be? That will solve for your availability and your loyalty.
It's funny because we talk all the time, me and Myron, and one thing we don't have is time in the game. That's all we're missing right now. We got the work ethic, we're consistent, and as well, we put up good value. So
just imagine where you're going to be 10 years from now if you keep doing this. Just imagine. Go there in your head for a second.
Cancel. I'll tell you that.
There you go.
Bums.
Or Alpha and
We just started,
those
bro.
guys.
We just started.
But
so,
I mean, it's the long game.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing that I talk about with money is that, you know, at some point you become, one of the things I say with money And same thing with status as a man is that there's red light, yellow light, green light. Most people are starting off at red light. What is red light?
Yeah.
You're paycheck to paycheck. You're drowning in debt. You got student debt. You got credit card debt. At some point, you need to get to yellow light. You save that money. You build up a base, a budget, a foundation. Next thing you know, you're green light. You're an investor. But that might take 5 years. But everyone wants to take the easy way out. We have the Bitcoin conference here every year. And all I'm doing is interviewing guys who are taking the easy way. I bought Dogecoin. I'm a millionaire now. Nah, not so fast, homie.
So I'm hearing,
I bought an NFT. I got a Bored Ape or whatever. It's like, yeah, that didn't work out so good.
Yeah.
So it's foundation and stay in the game.
I'm hearing a solid, some solid advice here. In a nutshell, just means build good relationships with people that mean or have value. Pretty much.
1,000,000%. I'll never forget one thing more than anything. I mean, this is it. One of the things that you talk about is reinventing yourself. We all have to reinvent ourselves.
Of course, yeah.
I'm not out here. When I started on Instagram and YouTube, I was just save that money, save that money, save that. That's my thing. Now I've evolved. I've learned from, the network that we've created here. But I'll never forget. My 10th grade teacher said, if there's anything you remember from my class, is that access is power. And I've always valued that because, all right, what does access mean? Access is who you're around with, who you're with. They say that you are the combination of the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. I've constantly tried to access power players and network with them, whether that was in Miami nightlife, whether that's in finance. I met Pat in the gym 11 years ago at this point. South Beach, podcasters, business guys, and access is power. I mean, we've sat down with some pretty interesting people in the last month. I don't know if I want to get into that, but when you're around these people, you just make yourself available. Don't let go of that.
I just did an event at Boxer Gym, right, with the owner Mateo, and I could have got it for free. But you know what? I wanted that access. So you know what? I'm gonna pay it, bro, full price. I want to build that connection. And now what he told me is, like, bro, listen, man, it's just such a good turnout. Whatever event you want to have here, I got you in the house. Yeah. So I'll pay for access. I don't care how much it costs, bro. Access is where it's at. All the way, bro. Yeah, all the way.
Shout out to Access Vegas, by the way.
There you go.
Not only that, to everybody watching this with Access, you guys are hosting an event June 2nd, this Friday night from 6 to, I don't know what time you guys can do that. At the Vault Club, at the Vitamin Club with the cigar lounge, all of that. If you're in this community, you want to get closer to these guys. So if you haven't yet bought the general tickets, I'm sure you're going to see the website here to get registered. Be this Friday, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. in Fort Lauderdale. It's going to be a lot of fun. I wouldn't miss it if I were you.
Listen, man,
definitely get in there, amazing. Guys. Bro, and you guys, if GA is only $50, man. Bro, so you guys can literally get in the door.
$1,000 for a 30-minute call. Comfort. $50, bro. Come on, dude.
Yeah, we got to figure out something with Connect with these guys.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Y'all got to jump in, man. Because y'all pay a lot more for just to do a console. I mean, I charge $1,000 for 20 minutes, man. So yeah. If y'all want, I don't even advertise it. So if you guys want to go and meet us in person, shake my hand, whatever, we'll be there in Fort Lauderdale with the Valuetainment guys, man. So it's gonna be lit.
Chris,
real quick. So
cool.
Okay,
50
will,
only.
Okay, 50 only from this point forward. I'll read
our 20.
I'm gonna fly through these. Okay. Cool. Shout out to FNF. You've helped me professionally, fitness-wise, and in the dating market. Found you through A&P and stuck around for the real value you guys add. Leveling up.
What did we say, bro?
Yeah, bro. They make videos on us, and then people come watch our shit, and they're like, "Wow, damn, these guys actually give solutions to the problems versus just giving stupid-ass reactions."
Free promo.
Like no one respects these guys. They don't go to the gym. They got titties. They're fucking fat. Who cares?
Thank you.
Fresh.
Choose your enemies wisely. That means you should.
With a stutter, let's do an interview for people with common issues and change lives. I think it would be great.
Awesome, bro.
Okay.
Send me DM.
King Jimmy goes, what watch is everyone wearing? Let me get a Don DeMarco. Love y'all, King.
No.
What?
No, it's Don DeMarco for him. $20, man.
Can I give a shout out to watch I'm wearing? Shout out to Kai over there at Valuetainment. This is the future looks bright watch.
Okay.
Valuetainment right there.
Okay.
Looks good.
Yeah. So this is on our merch.
So the logo's actually in the watch.
Right there.
That's dope, bro.
Oh, okay.
Valuetainment merch.
Oh, okay. And then
get it while you can.
That's a Rolex. Is that the Daytona? I can't see from here.
It's a Rolex.
Okay,
Tom Ellsworth got this for me as a gift after we sold the company. I got him a watch and he surprised me with a watch.
You'll meet Tom on the podcast tomorrow. The business.
No, this is nice. This is nice.
It's simple,
it's a
classy, but that gets all the job done. Yeah, pretty much.
I got a Pepsi Rolex on, guys, and then you got a skeleton.
AP skeleton. Yeah.
So
sick.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
Marriage cause divorce. Like and subscribe. 2 million subscribers on the way. Around 1 million guys get screwed by ruthless divorce judges in the USA and UK every day. Hopefully these guys find FNF and manage to rebuild. Appreciate that, my friend. Fresh dog. Chat needs to grow up. Yeah, that was from the thing. Pause. Made Me Smile goes, Patrick, I want a one-on-one consult with you so I can learn the ropes of generational wealth. You're going to have to pay some money for that one. I won't accept any excuses just not having time. Doers make things happen. But you don't have to pay him a bag.
How would he find you for a one-on-one?
He can send an email to info@valuetainment.com, info@valuetainment.com. Somebody from the team will get back to him.
Or Minect.
Yeah. Minect app, Minnect. It's an app where you can send a text. You can get a text response back 100%. You can get a video response back 100% of the time. Or you can have a 15-minute minimum FaceTime call with anybody on Minect. Again, Minnect, Minect. And Kikoa, I am on Minect, and I'm active on Minect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go, my friend. Because someone asked that. Chris, these came in from before?
Chris.
Yep. Hey, Myron, can you bring Mystery or Neil Strauss for Womanizer Wednesday? I'm sure Michael Sartain can hook you up. Okay, I'll make it happen. I spoke with Mystery before, guys. Hey, guys, how do I get into real estate without getting involved with interest because of riba is haram? Okay, talking about Mystery. Let's go. Shout out to you guys. CEO Network Meetup was a movie.
Shout out to you guys, man.
You guys, and have a great day. Big
Cody,
Boston.
bro.
Appreciate that. Little Mac goes, don't know if you guys remember me. Visited you in Miami a couple years back. Your advice changed my life. Lost over 120 pounds. Been with more women in last year than in my last 40 years combined. P.S. My mic's still there.
Yes,
Shout
it
out
is,
to you,
Lil Mac.
We didn't forget you, my friend.
Shout out to you, bro.
Yo, man. Question for PBD. Can you,
could you go back in time and advise your younger self after leaving the army? What are the top 3 things you would say?
I would be obsessed with studying topics, and I would read every book on that topic and course and event, negotiation, communication, sales, finance, money. I would go read any book on Amazon with over 500 reviews, 4+ star on those specific topics. And then at the same time, I would find a running mate to run with. And 4 basic philosophies I follow: outwork, out-improve, out-strategize, outlast. You do that, you can eventually win in any industry.
Yeah.
All right.
Fresh start, PBD, the GOAT. You inspired me to get on the path of success and have an anything is possible mentality. Also, because of you, I discovered Fresh and Fit. WPBD. Shout out to you, Fresh and Dog. Crentis the Dentist goes, only 2 podcasts I listen to. Love y'all. Keep up the good work. Hey, man, because we give you guys value, man. Solutions, my friends. What's up, brothers? I'm a business owner / entrepreneur from Cleveland. I was born with a stutter and was wondering if Fresh wanted to do an interview talking to people with similar issues like us. I think it would change lives.
Yeah, just send me a DM, bro.
That's from Brazil.
Did you have a stutter at one point?
You know what's funny?
People still got it.
No, it's funny.
I didn't know that.
Some people don't hear it, bro. It's like if I'm not on the podcast, they don't hear it at all.
Stop the cap.
Like they don't hear it in real life. No, it's true though. It's true.
Stop the cap.
How did you
Chris,
overcome
I know you
that?
ain't talking, bro.
Huh?
How did you overcome that?
It still happens here and there, but it got way better recently.
Stop the cap.
But how bad was it at one point?
Like, it's terrible, bro. I was like,
and look at you hosting one of the biggest podcasts in the world right now.
Thanks, man.
By the way, just so you know,
Yeah.
some of the biggest public speaking teachers, like the old school ones, teach you to stutter. Like it is a skill to stutter. You know who's one of the greatest speakers of the last 30 years? A guy named Barack Obama. Go watch his speeches, see how many times he stutters. All the time. It's an art.
America.
Go listen to his speech and see how often he stutters when he answers. It is an absolute art to stutter.
Wow.
Yes. You know
Keep
why?
doing what you do.
But do you know why though?
No.
Why does he stutter? What is the power of stuttering?
Anticipation.
No. What is the power of stuttering?
Repetitive words.
It delays time for you to think about your answer to be more thorough and clear. There's power in stuttering. Don't let anybody confuse you. Some of the greatest speakers of all time stuttered.
Wow.
Persuaders. Some of the greatest persuaders of all time stuttered. Such, all this stuff that you go to some of these courses about, don't say don't say like Toastmasters. You have no clue what you're talking about. The biggest persuaders talk to you like they're a human being, and you receive it and say, I relate to this guy. He's like me. Versus the perfect people. Sometimes perfect people can't persuade.
I'm telling you, man.
So don't sweat it. Keep stuttering.
Yo, I
That's all, folks.
Don't overthink it.
Keep doing you, baby.
I'm gonna add context to his point. So a lot of things they do behind the scenes, right, is like talking to people one-on-one, and building that connection. Me being real and who I am, even though I might stutter sometimes, like they can relate to it. You know, he's not perfect, but he cares. He genuinely wants to do better or add value.
It's such power of persuasion. The less perfect you are, the more perfect you are, you can't persuade. People don't relate to perfect people. They just don't. There is, like, if you look at candidates right now running for office, for president, look how many of them look perfect. People don't relate to perfect people.
Yeah.
I don't know. You look too perfect. I'm a little too worried about you. They want to see a little flaws, little mistakes, little human side to you. So, and that's one of them.
I think that's why people like Trump too.
Yeah.
You know, they thought that grab her by the pussy thing was going to fuck him up. And it's like, not really, because that's how guys
Made him better.
talk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So where we at here? We got Luegos. I believe Trump lost the 2020 election because CNN kept putting fear in Americans by saying that Trump is responsible for the beer bug deaths while he was saying we shouldn't have shut down the economy. Guess who was right? Trump 2024. Fair enough. And then we'll go back to the topic at hand, guys. And then, like I said before, from this point forward, because we already got almost 10K y'all in here. So we're going to talk about Target, Bud Light, DEI, CEI, ESG, PRI, and
companies
NGOs,
behind
which some of these acronyms
agenda.
I don't know. So please educate us.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple things. Did you guys hear about what the Oscars Academy just announced 3 weeks ago and what it takes to be nominated for an Oscar moving forward? Have you guys heard about this or no?
No.
So Hollywood just came out and announced that moving forward, to be nominated for an Academy, you have to have your leading role on any movie. A percentage of it has to be from a underrepresented community. The actors have to be part of a underrepresented community. The workers behind camera have to be part of it. A third has to be part of an underrepresented community. The editors, the shredders, the camera guys, a third have to be part of underrepresented communities. You can Google this and show it, or else you cannot be nominated. Meaning, and then they broke down what it means to be part of the underrepresented community. If you want to know what those 6 things are to be part of the underrepresented community, here's how they define it to be part of the underrepresented community. Okay. Number 1 is women, people of color, LGBTQ+, people with disabilities, people from low-income communities, people from rural areas, and people of indigenous heritage. What? If you are that, and you have a third of it in some of the categories, then you can be nominated for a Oscar. Let me explain to who does not qualify if this were to ever happen. And pretty much 99% of movies that ever won an Oscar would not be able to qualify today to do this. Here's a part that people don't realize that's going on in Hollywood. You guys know why all the creative actors escaped to go to Hollywood? Like, do you know where they escaped from to end up going to Hollywood? Jersey. Why Jersey? Hollywood used to be in Jersey. Why?
Really?
Because Thomas Edison was in Jersey. So if you go type in Thomas Edison, New Jersey, Hollywood, you'll see. The reason why they left Jersey and Thomas Edison, because it was so regulated that he said, you have to make movies based on my guidelines or else. Finally, these guys are like, screw this place. We're going to Hollywood. So to go to Hollywood, in 1920, all the major motion pictures movies that were made, 95% of all the major motion picture movies were made in Hollywood. You know what that number is today? 55 million. 4 years ago, do you know how many people watched the Oscars in America? 44 million. You know how many people watched the Oscars this year? 18.7 million. The 3 worst years of watching the Oscars in the last 20 years were the last 3 years. People are done. Today, I want to watch the movie with Sebastian Maniscalco and Robert De Niro. It's a new movie about a father, all this other stuff. Right off the bat, the movie starts with an LGBTQ community. If you watch the new, what is the new Fast and the Furious? The guy that's, what is the Aquaman? What's the guy?
Jason Momoa.
He's gay. Yeah, he's gay. In the movie, Fast and the Furious is gay. So guess what? So now people ask and say, well, I don't understand this stuff. Why are they doing this? Bud Light loses 25%. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light loses 25% of sales since they decided to team up with Dylan Mulvaney. Target, since they announced they have a trans section because of Pride Month, their stock dropped 12%. They lost $9 billion. Target lost $9 billion in a span of roughly 2 weeks.
Damn.
Their stock dropped. Why? So people say, well, these CEOs are idiots. They're morons. You should do this. They have no clue what they're doing. You should fire this person. That's not how this thing works. So the whole thing, you have to look at how this thing comes about. So UN, United Nations, comes out with something called PRI. Then PRI starts raising money from NGOs. NGOs are non-governmental organizations. So such as Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, all these other companies that are giving them money.
Right?
You got it. Yes. So then these NGOs come out with this ESG score, and the ESG score, they have a couple different areas. One is called DEI, diversity, equity, inclusive, and then they have the CEI. I think it's called Corporate Equity Index or something like that. Then there's an organization called HRC, Human Rights Committee, that is funded by Open Society Foundation, Open Society Foundation has been given $32 billion of money by one guy named George Soros. You know George Soros?
Oh, yeah.
Open Society Foundation
One of the
is
boys.
George Soros' foundation. Since 1984, George Soros has given Open Society Foundation $32 billion of his own money. Not other people's money, his own money. So what does this have to do with anything? This thing, as you get deeper, it's even crazier. Do you know BlackRock? I don't know if you've heard of BlackRock,
Yes.
Larry Fink, you know Vanguard, and you know State Street.
Yep.
Do you know how much money BlackRock has under management? Do you know the number of how much assets under management BlackRock has? If you were to take a wild guess, how much assets under management BlackRock has, what would you say that number is?
I'll say this: they're buying up like all the single-family homes in the United States right now.
You're a
That's what they're
smart
doing.
guy. You're a sharp guy. What would you say that number is? How much you think they have assets under management?
AUM, assets under management.
Man.
What do you think it is?
Can I give a percentage of how much how much assets they have? Can I just give a percentage? I don't know the exact amount, but I can give.
What dollar amount you think would be a lot of money?
I'm a guess.
Like, I'll put it to you this way. Have you heard of Guggenheim that bought the Dodgers? They have $300 billion of assets under management. Oak Tree Capital Management that gave us, we worked with them before. They have $160 billion under management. Bain Capital, massive. They have $100 billion of assets
Those
under
Mitt
management.
Romney's people.
What do you think BlackRock has as assets under management?
I'm going to say between 5 to 600 billion. Then.
You ready? $11 trillion.
Wow.
Did you hear what I just said?
Holy fuck.
11 trillion. By the way,
Wow.
I swear to you.
10 and a half, $11 trillion. Do you know what the US GDP was last year? 32 trillion.
Yeah.
So America as a business did 32 trillion last year. BlackRock has $11 trillion. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street combined have roughly a 10% stake to 15% stake on 88% of S&P 500 companies. Let me say that one more time.
Wow.
BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street collectively have roughly 10 to 15% of equity in nearly 88% of S&P 500 companies.
That's fucking crazy.
And
top
20
500 companies in the United States.
Top 500 companies in the
Wow.
United States. 24.9% of board seats are controlled by BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Nearly 88% of these guys. So what does this mean? Guess what they do? They control everything.
Yeah.
They control everything. So they get to tell the companies, if you want to borrow money from me, for example, let's just say your name is Dodgers. You're like, man, if we want to really give this guy a contract for $400 million over 10 years, let's go raise the money. All right. Hey, can you give us some money here? No problem. BlackRock, here's $100 million. Bank of America, here's $100 million. Goldman Sachs, here's $200 million. Go offer this guy a $400 million contract, but your ESG score is low. What I need you to do is I need you at the Dodgers game to have a lesbian non-indulgence. I don't know if you guys saw the story or not. Have you guys seen this thing? What happened at Dodger Stadium?
I haven't seen the
Okay, anyway, so this whole story comes out with there's an organization called Something of Indulgence where transgender men are out there and doing what they're doing because Dodgers has to increase their ESG score.
These are the people that probably are reading books to kids and all this other stuff. Same
That's
organization.
exactly
probably?
what it is. So again, the point with these guys, the money guys are imposing high ESG score. I'll give you this final thoughts for you guys to be thinking about how deep this is getting. You know what the top five highest ESG scores in America is? Number 5 is Bank of America. Number 4 is Salesforce. Number 3 is Microsoft. Number 2 is Intel. And number 1 is Alphabet. You know what are some of the companies with the worst ESG scores in America? Tesla, one of the worst.
Yep.
Tesla's fixing the environment, helping the environment to have one of the worst.
Yep.
Twitter's one of them.
Yep.
You got Xerox is one of them. AT&T is one of them. I can give you Fox Corporate is one of them.
Sure.
These companies who have low ESG scores, they're not controlled by those guys, but those guys don't give them a good score, so they have a hard time raising more money from other people. It's a
What does
mess
ESG
on what
stand
they're
for?
doing. Say that again.
Do you know what ESG stands for? I was going to.
Yeah, environmental social governance. Environmental social governance, I believe.
So is that like basically your how woke you are?
How woke you are.
It's your woke score.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
So it's funny because
you know, there's a social credit score that they do in China. This is your corporate
and environmental service.
Environmental social governance, I want to say.
Okay.
So it's funny. You don't take over or destroy infrastructure from outside. You do it from the inside. And control happens when people have to follow either a regiment or, for example, a system. And the ESG score is basically our literal credit score. So for companies, like you said before, to borrow money, you need to have the score A1. If you don't, you can't borrow money. So they're going to squeeze them saying, hey, you know what? Do these things. If you don't do it, you can't borrow money. So they have to do it. So Bud Light had to, on some level, to stay relevant or stay in the, I want to say, marketplace itself, do these things to actually be a competitor and borrow money as well.
So you think they probably sold their soul, borrowed money, and that's why they had to do that stupid ass ad? This is why Gillette did the controversial toxic masculinity ad. Because I've always been wondering, like, why are they taking crazy risks and ostracizing their consumer base?
Say you don't do it, but you know what happens if you don't do it? They control the board seats. If you don't do it, guess what the board is doing to you? They're firing you.
Right.
How many people you think want a job paying you $25 million a year salary? How many people you think would like to be the CEO of Anheuser-Busch? How many people you think would want to be a CEO of Target? How many people you think want that job? 1,000 people?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Guys that went to Harvard, Yale, Princeton.
Of course.
There's 1,000 guys that want that job. How many people you think are willing to do all of those things for $25 million a year salary? Plenty of people.
Everyone.
And you know what's funny?
Plenty of people.
With Blackrock, I was going to say 10 trillion because they're literally buying every single thing, even close to buildings as well, and single family.
Yeah.
Which means they're going to control pretty much all of our
They're a
huge
big
portion
reason why we have a housing shortage, so to speak.
on purpose.
Yeah.
But once again, what is it? All control. If I
Yeah.
control how you do behind the scenes, I really control the company. Even though you're the face of it, I control the behind the scenes.
So now somebody says something like, well, how do you fight these guys, man? How the hell do you fight these guys?
Okay, that's my question, bro.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
I, in my possible simple mindset, can't imagine how you can fight that.
Do you know why we're even able to have this conversation right now together?
Free speech?
Do you know why we're able to have this conversation right now? Okay, a Jewish man, a Middle Eastern man, a black man, and
Arab guy.
okay.
Muslim guy,
Well,
Muslim Arab guy.
watch four of
better,
us.
could be better.
How different we are, and we're sitting at a table right now, and 9835 is right now watching live. Do you know why we're able to do this right now?
Because we're niggas?
No, because of probably, I will say, 1,000 anti-establishment people in the last 270 years in America. That's why. And those 1,000 anti-establishment guys fought for you and I, and they've never met you. You'll never meet them. You don't even know what they went through. You don't know how they targeted their families, all this other stuff. You and I are able to have this conversation because the world still has few anti-establishment guys that can't be bought and can't be bullied. Power to those guys that are not afraid to fight.
Yeah.
Power. By the way, do you know what is the ultimate riskiest job in the world? You know what's the riskiest job in the world? Position. What is the riskiest position in the world?
Very good question.
It's not a president.
Politician?
Anybody that's loud, vocal, fighting against the establishment.
Oh, yeah.
It's the riskiest job in the world.
Of course, they'll cancel you.
Period.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Andrew Tate, Ryan Dawson.
Yeah.
You know, like if you talk about anything that challenges the establishment and you have a big enough platform, or you talk about certain taboo subjects, they're going to cancel you. So, yeah.
Okay, so question though. How do we fight it?
So you get to pick and choose, like, for example, beer companies. If a person's sitting there saying, I don't like what Bud Light is doing, no problem. Guess what? Start a beer company. Whoever starts to support them. Help them out. Let them get bigger.
Even Miller Lite made a woke commercial recently with the females.
Sure. And let them do it.
Yeah.
But then if other people start a direct competitor to them, support them, whatever it may be. Go buy their product. Go support their product. Go do what they're doing. Like, for example, I told Chris today, I said, I don't know if you, Chris from Rumble, I said, I'm one of your biggest cheerleaders. You don't even know it. I said, you have no idea how important it is what you're doing. Rumble is very, very important to the marketplace. Very. Because there is an alternative place to go. Spotify is very important to the marketplace. There's an alternative place to go. Twitter is a very important place to the marketplace. Exactly. There's a place to go. These are things that they have a place to go, right? For them to go. And we need to support those companies. We need to help out those companies.
I agree.
And we need to build up those companies. It's the solution to something like this is unequivocal. It's 100% of individuals willing to compete, to say, I believe I can do it better. Okay. The fear, you know how a lot of people are like, well, you know, Patrick, it's easy for you to move your family and go out to Florida. You know, you can move your family and go to Florida. I said, dude, I've moved since Jennifer and I have been married 13 times.
Damn.
Each time we've moved, Jennifer's been pregnant that we moved to a new state. When we moved to Texas, she was pregnant. When we moved to Florida, she was pregnant. Okay. We've had 4 kids born in 3 different states. We've moved our office 12 times. We moved our house 13 times. Okay. We moved. People say, how could you really move and go to a different place? Listen, California, for the first time since 1851, lost people in the state of California. It's never happened in the history of California. People left. You know why? They're sick of it. They're going to a different place. So why can't they go to a different place? Because of competition. Where are people leaving California to? Texas, Florida, Arizona, Nevada. There is other options. People that are leaving New York, where are they going to? Tennessee, Florida. There's options. People that are leaving Chicago, where are they going to? There is options. As long as we can compete, the customer wins. The moment you and I cannot compete, we lose. So we have to support the competitors as much as possible who have the audacity. For example, who is Daily Wire competing against? Whether you like Daily Wire or not, who does Daily Wire compete against?
I guess now Rumble.
Let's say, you think so? Okay, let's just say it's Rumble. But to me, I put Daily Wire out there. I put Rumble out there. I put Twitter out there. I put any of these guys out there. Anybody that's competing with the traditional media space, if they got a $20 a month product, $40 a month product, guess what? Go support them, buy them. Because if you don't, then you're also supporting the other side.
Right. Okay.
You know how many people paid Netflix every month? You know what the number is? You know how many active users they have today? Do you know the number?
Probably a lot.
212 million people.
Damn.
Netflix, 212. Disney's got over 150 million.
And they have an agenda.
And they have an agenda.
Yeah.
And you know how many Daily Wire has? 2 million. So support these guys. Support the guys that are willing to do the fight. I don't have a stock in Daily Wire. I don't have a stock in Rumble. Some people would even say, why are you supporting your direct competitors? Because these guys have the audacity to fight against the guys that want to control everybody.
Yes.
Anybody that has the audacity to support. Look why I'm here tonight, okay? I got 4 kids. My kids were playing baseball. I'm outside playing baseball with the kids. This guy's saying, Pat, let's go do this. You guys push the envelope. I respect people that push the envelope. It's not an easy job to go out there and do it. I'm driving down here from Fort Lauderdale to come out here. Tomorrow, I think you're going to be with us. We're going to touch current events, all that stuff. Make sure for us to email you the stuff so you have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
All this stuff we're doing, why are we doing it? Because you're challenging the status quo. You're pushing the envelope. And we need more people who have the audacity and willing to put their energy into it. And whoever's doing that, support their cause.
Damn.
We need to support more of the creators' cause that are willing to fight the fight. They are more important. It's very easy today to, do what? Here's what's easy to do today.
Sit back, relax.
Dude, sit back.
Go with the flow.
There's so many ways to make money today.
Yeah.
What if you just chill out? What if you're like, listen, man, you know what? This freaking bullshit pressure, I can't do anything about it anymore. I'm just going to go relax, do my own thing, and live in Singapore. And I'm going to just forget America. Screw America. America's not doing anything for me. Or you can say, no, I'm not going to do this. Just I'm not in my idea. I'm going to fight. Great. Then if those people who have the audacity to fight, we have to support them.
Damn. That's powerful, man.
That's
Don
very
Marco.
true, man. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Where are we at here?
Man, I'm inspired, man. This is great. This is great.
Do you ever see yourself leaving America? A lot of the conversations about the passport bros. You got to fix America within, don't you think?
Okay, so I believe in what Patrick's saying, but ultimately, I've read the Bible. So I know what's going to happen. And we can fight it for now, but eventually it's going to be
what's going to happen?
Well, once again, there's going to be control where we can't fight back. Which means, I think it's the same. No, but it just means, for example, like in this scenario, this world, I want to say, conclusion is going to be $1, one government, one people. And if you go against the agenda, you're out. And then once again, I don't know if you believe in the Bible, but Jesus comes back, Antichrist is here, and then. But once again, I take it as, once again, looking at it for what it really is. And I agree, we should fight for now, but eventually we can't fight anymore on some level.
Again, the weight of that argument, there's nothing you said I disagree with. Nothing. I'm a Christian man.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. But I also think about the conversation, let's just say with God, okay? And he's looking at you and I. And said, all right, so listen, if you do believe in God, at one point you were on your knees praying where life sucked. At least for me, I was.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, listen, God, man, what do you want me to do? I'm ready. And then you make some drastic changes to your life, okay? Let's say you do that and you pray. And then he does what? He introduces to a person who introduces you to a person, life changes, you're in a better financial situation. And then imagine after he introduces to all these guys to you, if you believe in God, and then all of a sudden you're like, nah, man, I did it all myself. It wasn't God, it was all me. Okay? And you're like, nah, look, God is for weaker people. And then boom, there's another fall. They're like, but God. And God's like, look, So I think that argument you made is also the reason why many Christians are not fighting, because they're just like saying, well, I mean, we all know what's going to happen at the end. We all know what's going to happen at the end. Do you know the exact date? No. What if that's 200 years from now? What if it's 100 years from now? What's 500 years from now? What if 50? What if it's 2 years from now? So it doesn't mean let's just sit and wait? No. I think we need to do our part to fight until that day comes. And we don't know what that date is. That should produce a sense of urgency in the people who have the ability to do so. Those who can, they should do the fight. If not, so many people will be on the sidelines saying, who cares? Can't do anything about it anyways.
Kind of like
cares?
your election question. You know,
it's a very good argument. He's right.
I understand that.
I understand. There's a lot of people that relate to what he has to say. You're not alone in that argument.
No, but
it's almost like it was already written. It's already prescribed.
Yeah.
There's nothing what I can do. Why would I go vote? Why would I go try to do anything? Everything's already written out there for me. Everything's already figured out for me.
I'm convinced. Yeah. I'm convinced at this point. The more I'm thinking about this, Fresh is in love.
This guy, man.
As when you're in love, you look at life and like, what really matters more than love? You know, I just can't wait for this podcast to call my girl and go hang out and, you know, life changes.
Hey, baby. Hold on. I will say this. Your ideals and your speech today has put a light under my ass to say, you know what? Until that day comes, I should be putting in the work. Pause. But at the same time, it's like, you're right. I am right, but still, what am I doing right now in the moment?
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
But, you know, we don't have the one argument. There's so many things that people would say that I would never understand. I had to really figure this thing out. For example, you know, imagine, Myron, one day you are so rich that you don't have to work a single day for the rest of your life. And I would sit there and I would think about, I'm like, what a miserable life.
Yeah.
To not have to work. My dad is 81 years old. He was just in the hospital for 5 days. You know, no one needs to know this, but anyway, he's doing fine right now, but it was almost like done. My dad this last week, we had a big scare, but you know what he's already doing today? He's already working. He can't help himself, right? So these contradictions in life and confusing statements, I'll give you another one. So, first one we said was what? Hey, imagine if you have all the money in the world, you don't have to work for the rest of your life, right? Here's another one that's very annoying. You know how you should live life? What if today on your drive home, you get into an accident and you die? What would you do if you knew you had 30 minutes left? So let me get this straight for the people that give that message. So you mean to tell me you want to have me spend the rest of my life as if I'm going to die in the next 30 minutes? Because if I knew I'm going to die in the next 30 minutes, I'm not on this podcast tonight.
Right.
And neither are you.
Right.
We're elsewhere. You're hanging out with your mom and dad, with your family.
Yeah.
You know, you're with people that you love. Your new girl. Adam's probably out there, doing what he's doing. But the point is, even that argument, it's a motivational video that goes viral, but it's confusing as shit for younger audience.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, hey, you shouldn't really give that much work because you should spend time with the people that you love. That's also a lightweight argument, because if I live that life, I'm just going to sit around and do nothing. I don't buy that either. I think, to me, you have to make a list of people in your life you don't want to disappoint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who do people in your life you don't want to disappoint? For me, it's the man upstairs.
Yeah.
It's God. It's my 4 kids. It's my wife. And the people that are the most loyal to me, I don't want to disappoint those guys.
Right.
Okay. And quite frankly, a part of that on that list is the men and women who built America into the greatest country in the world, where I have the ability to live the dream life. I just don't want to disappoint these guys. Okay. Now, the selfish life is to say what? I don't give a shit if I disappoint these guys or not. They're not that important to me. No, I don't want to disappoint these guys. I want to come through for these guys. If you have that mindset, then you're living for that cause. I don't know why accidentally all your selfish dreams also become a reality. If I tell you my life right now, my life doesn't make sense right now. I can't even tell you my life right now. When I have the conversations, people that are calling me, people out of my house, every day I'm at my house, I'm like, sometimes I just sit there, I'm like, it's crazy who's been at the house this last 2 weeks? Pretty wild who's been at the house the last 2 weeks. Do these guys know this guy had a 1.8 GPA in high school? Do these guys know I joined the Army at 18 because my plan was to go 20 years and I would have retired 6 years ago at 38 because I thought I can't ever make more money than $4,000 a month. I thought $4,000 was so much money. And when I was going to get out of the Army, I was going to be a cop. I'm big. I'm intimidating. I can be a cop. I can impose myself. I don't have a problem with that. And then I'm going to do that for 20 years, and I'm going to use my 20 years military, and I'm going to retire at 58 years old. What a dream. That's what I'm going to be. I bought into that dream.
Yeah.
Small thinking, fear-based. I'm a regular guy. And then all of a sudden, boom. Huh?
I did too.
You and I both. And look what you're doing today. You know, look how you're putting yourself out there. Look how much noise you're making. Look how much you're getting people to be thinking about different things. So I think the part is there's nothing wrong with pursuing your selfish desires. And I think you need to. But if you're by yourself in a car, you're sitting there saying, who do I not want to disappoint? Make a list of those people. I think that's going to produce a man's man who doesn't just live for himself. We were doing an index together. It's a good question for you. I'm curious to know what your answer will be with this one. So say we have 10 different types of people. Okay. I'm actually really curious to know, Myron, what you're going to say to this question here. So what is the best person's net positive to society? Okay. You have selfish, you have unselfish. Okay.
Or selfless, right?
Selfless, selfish. Okay. Somebody that lives for them and somebody that lives for others. Okay. Let's split it. Let's say somebody that's 100% selfish, 0% selfless. Okay. And then let's say somebody that's 100% selfless, 0% selfish. Okay. And then let's go 10-90, 20-80, 30-70. What is the right mixture of contributing to society where you're a net positive to society? You understand the question I'm asking, right?
I completely understand, yeah.
So for example, if you say, well, you know, it's to be 100% selfless and 0% selfish. Let's actually unpack that. If that's you, that means you smell. That means you don't take showers. That means you're tough to be around because you don't care about yourself. Everything's about other people. Yeah. You don't want to be clean. You probably have viruses. You probably are, because everything's about other people. You're a net negative to society. So as much as we want to say, wow, that's such a noble person, you're actually not. You're hurting the rest of us. If we go the other side, yeah, you know what? It's best to be 100% selfish, 0% selfless. Believe it or not, the 100% selfish is better to society than the 100% selfless, as crazy as it sounds. So then you go, well, it's good to be 50-50. But is it to be 50-50? No. So what do you think the number is? What do you think by the way, there's no right answer to this. This is just us talking about it.
Yeah, this is an open-ended question. Fresh, you want to take it first?
Yeah. So going off of like what I've done myself and what I've seen other people that are successful do and how it worked out for them. Look at Grant Cardone, right? He was selfish at the very beginning, but being selfish led to him impacting so many lives. So using that as an example of myself and other people, I would say selfish, let's say like 80%, selfish 20%.
That's interesting. What would you say, Myron?
I was literally going to say the same thing. 80% selfish, 20% selfless. And then because here's the thing, if you're selfish, right, up front, you'll be able to turn that down and become more selfless as you acquire more resources, knowledge, and the ability to actually become more selfless because you can help people. Because you prop yourself up, right, by being selfish, you get to where you need to get to. And then once you're in that position of power, then you can start to slowly say, okay, I could start to be a little bit more of a humanitarian here. I can go ahead and start allocating some of these resources, wisdom, etc., to others, so I can start to become more selfless now. So then you could drop it down. I think you got to start off damn near 90-10, and then you can work your way down to an 80-20, 70-30.
I fully agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
So you said earlier to sit down by yourself, who do you want to not disappoint, and what does life mean to you? And I did that a couple months ago. I was sitting down saying, you know what? I'm having fun. I'm partying. I'm meeting people, doing fun stuff. But I'm not adding real value. I'm not actually being a man of means, right? Because obviously, we're set up. We have real estate. We have good investments, whatever. But what else is there? And then I said, you know what? I'm being selfish to a point where I'm being just hedonistic. I got on a phone call with a friend of my AMS. He said, bro, you're off your purpose. What are you really doing? And then I said, you know what? What can I do right now to add value? And that's why I started the CEO Network. I said, you know what? I'm going to give back to people that support us, that want to be around us. And by default, this community I created, bro, like, we're doing so much big things just in less than 3 months. So I think just having that talk to yourself goes a long way.
Listen,
let me add to that.
You guys, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the list that you put together, your family, your friends, you almost talk about your legacy, your forefathers who brought you into this world. I think this is going to be a little selfish right now. I think the one person that you need to put at the top of that list is you.
Yourself.
I think no matter what, we're all sitting there. We have to look each other in the mirror, yourself in the mirror every single day. Shout out to Chaz Palminteri. The saddest thing in life by far is wasted talent. We all have two different versions of ourselves. We all have the version who's just lazy and just not doing stuff and has limited beliefs and isn't getting shit done. And you have the other person that's waking up earlier in the day, putting the work in, becoming the best version of themselves. I mean, it's the essence of what you do in this podcast.
Yeah.
And I think we all have that issue. I mean, the number one one of the main situations that's plaguing the United States right now is depression. How many people just look in the mirror are not happy with themselves? So this is a little bit selfish. One of the things that I'm breaking out of my shell is from Pat encouraging me. You need to be a leader. You need to have a family. You need to have kids. I'd be a great father. I want that in my life. But right now I've been very selfish, rightfully so. I'm on that 90-10 path, 80-20 path. No doubt, Myron.
Yeah.
But at some point, the selfishness needs to wane and being selfless needs to increase. And if you don't look in the mirror and you're not happy with yourself, you're not, like, as much as you want to make other people happy, you can't make everybody happy if you're not happy yourself.
100%. Dude, this is a very good question.
I like this. I'm going to put this in the description for the people to see it. He showed me the net positive index NPI chart. And it goes here: when you're 100% selfish, it makes you a criminal psychopath, dangerous to society. When you're 90-10 selfish, in favor of selfish, you're a narcissist. World revolves around you. That's most modern day women. And then at the 80-20, you become a solopreneur. Set an example of success, but bad at duplicating. And then at 70-30, it looks like you become kingmaker and a driver. And then it looks like a synergist / great team at 60-40.
Yeah.
So it starts to become more and more positive.
The companies are ran by 70-30 guys.
Okay.
They're ran by 70-30, and then they're supported by 60-40 guys.
Very interesting. I'll put that chart down in the description for people.
Where do you think you are at this point in your life?
I'm a 70-30 guy. I'm a 70-30 guy. I started off as a 90-10 guy. I'm like, it's just so, and then I'm like, and I went 80-20. I'm like, dude, nobody around me is winning. I was 25 years old. I'm like, hey, no. I'm not going to play this 80-20 game. Then I went 70-30. And 70-30, you have to bring people with you. You have to bring people with you. But you still have to drive. You have to be in a tough position to challenge everybody. You're going to be the guy that's going to be sometimes hated, disliked. You're raising the standards. You're expecting the people push a little more. That's not it. That's not the most people want to be number one, but they do not want to be number one.
Yeah.
They don't want what comes with the territory. But to go back to this on what we're talking about, listen, guys, what has Fresh and Fit done? You guys have helped a lot of young men, guys like yourself, guys like Tate. You got your show Saucecast. All of these different things is getting single men who feel they're alone and they're weak and they can't do anything and no one's talking to them, no one's flirting with them. You're giving them, you're empowering them, right, on what to do. Perfect. So then you have to know that value, is that a value that benefits a 16-year-old, a 22-year-old, a 28-year-old? Does it also benefit a 38-year-old, a 48-year-old, a 58-year-old? I don't know. So that's the part that we have to be thinking about, because eventually, like for me, okay, so your life is done with. I asked this guy the question. I said, Adam, you died today. What's your legacy? What are people saying at your funeral? Is it, dude, the guy was good with the ladies, dog? No one gives a shit.
Nobody. Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Dude, the guy was freaking good with money. No one gives a shit. The guy was so funny. Versus Siamak, my brother-in-law, his father dies. His father was a Walter Cronkite of Iran. His funeral, 2,500 people shot. I think they did 3 funerals.
Damn.
That's how big the helicopters, everything, riots, protesting, because he was a very big name man. He had one of the best voices in Iran. Sabit Imani. So Siamak is there, so proud of him, walking around like a boss, taking care of his family. But he says, so many people came to me and told me the things that my dad did for them that I never knew about. He said, the most emotional thing for me was how many men came and said, do you really know who your dad was? Do you really know who your dad was? Do you really know who your dad was? He says, my dad never bragged about what he did for other people, but everybody kept coming. There's nothing like when I go around other men that have known my dad for a while and they tell me what my dad did for them. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. At the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. At your funeral, either they're going to say, this guy smashed so many, he made a lot of money, or freaking A. This guy changed our life, and especially so many that no one knows about. It's by far the best stories when people say things like that. So, I think it's important to realize that if we can lead from the 70-30 side, come down from the 90-10, the 80-20 to the 70-30 side, and you can kind of start seeing that, hey, I need to drive, but I also need to be looking at this way as well. And I need to kind of invest in things that outlive me. If you and I start looking at things that outlive us, life changes. I'll say this final thoughts, and I'll just kind of turn it over to you guys. Marriage is risky. Staying single is riskier. Having kids is risky. Being childless is riskier. Okay? Believing in God is risky. Not believing in God is riskier. Being part of a startup is risky. Taking the safe route is riskier. Making investments is risky. Not making any investments is riskier. This whole notion of what's risky and what's, even marriage, you're like, well, in America, it's the worst place to get married. You're right. I agree. I don't disagree. You know, we're talking to a person who lives in Chile, and this person's going through a divorce. It's a girl going through a divorce. And I said, so how are things with the divorce? He says, well, in our country, everything's about the man. I says, what do you mean? He says, it's not like America. Here, if I want to take my kids to the States, he has to give me permission to take my kids to the States. So guess what? In Chile, if you get married, men are more protected than who? Women. In America, who's protected? It doesn't matter what you say. She's protected, right? Okay. Yeah. But guess what? Can we be a little bit more wiser in the way we get married? Can we have better lawyers to write up a better prenuptial? Instead of being cheap and spending $1,500 on a prenuptial, can we spend $8,000 or $5,000? Yes. Can we structure, especially if you have money. If you don't have money getting married, you can't bitch about it because you were broke before you got married. But if you are a guy that has money and then you get married and you then have to give 50%, you were lazy. You didn't want to go out there and get the right prenuptial in place. We can make the better choice as men to lead the family. All of those things are in us. Sometimes I also believe this messaging of, what we're doing and, women are this and women are that and men are this and men are that. Totally fine. Hey, all men are dogs. Okay, you can say that all you want. All men are dogs. All they're going to do is they're going to do this, that to you. Good luck thinking that way for the rest of your life. Go ahead. Believe your mom. Well, your father cheated on me so many times. Mary, let me tell you, all men are dogs. Mary, go ahead and believe that. See how that pans out for your life. Let me tell you, all women, they're all better. This was there. No problem. Go think that. And then you're on a date with this girl. It's getting serious. Like, this could be my wife. And then at some point in the relationship, after like 6-12 months, you're like, maybe I'm going to marry this girl. When you're looking at her, what you're telling yourself, here's what you're thinking. You're saying, okay, I'm probably going to marry you. I think there's a 60% chance this thing's going to work out. I think there's a 70% chance this thing's going to work out. I think 50% we're going to make it work. You'll never tell her this, but you're going to have that moment where you think about it. Okay, if you're not thinking about it, you're drunk. But let's just say you're not drunk and you're thinking about it, you're going to say that. If you say 100% this is going to work out, you're a fool and you're naive. No one's going to get married. It's a 0% chance working out. Why would you get married? But you have a number that you think about. And then your job is for the remaining 30 or 40% is to lead better, is to put better systems in place, to put better structure in place, to make sure if you can't do it by yourself, hey, maybe we need a little bit of God. Maybe we need to go out with more people that are married, happily married, and surround ourselves around them. Maybe we got to drop some of the single guys in our lives, single friends in our lives. Maybe we need to reprioritize then you increase your chances. But, we need more men. I went through the evolution myself as a 90-10er. Trust me, when my sergeant came out of the Army, he was at our house and everybody wanted to hear stories. I said, Felix, tell whatever story you want to tell. He says, you sure? I said, whatever story you want to tell him. Some of the stories he told, you wouldn't believe it. You're like, Pat did that. That's pretty shitty. Well, I was very selfish. Why? Hey, almost every man that goes through the selfish phase, you know what the requirement, the prerequisite is for a man to become a 90-10 when they just run through 50, 100 girls? You know what the prerequisite is? One girl cheats on you. Some of the best men, most powerful men in the world, one girl screws them over. And then they're like, you know what? Done. Here's what I'm going to get even with you by going through this. Totally get it. We've all been through it. And then after you've done what you've done, eventually you're still going to be like, you know what? There's still a risk. I'm willing to take that risk. But here's how I'm going to take the risk. Let's go play ball. And then if you think you're going to find a better man out there, go ahead. Good luck to you. I'm going to give the argument there's no way in the world you're going to find somebody like that. And guess what your job is to me? Wife, what's that? Your job is to also tell me, good luck finding somebody that's going to have your back better than me. Good luck. Good luck finding somebody that's going to support you as much as I'm going to support you. That level of accountability from both sides makes both people improve, okay? And then, I'm watching this one recording between 4 couples. One is they're about to get married. One is a newly married. One, they're in their 30s, 40s. They've been married for like 15, 20 years. And one, they've been married for 40 years. So everybody's given the problems that they're going through. Okay. Then the ones that have been married for 40 years, they're in their 60s. They say, yeah, it's great. Well, let me tell you what happened with us. My wife, she had to get a surgery done. For 9 months, we couldn't have sex. For 9 months, we couldn't have sex at all. Says we were in our late 50s. And I was upset. I was calling out my wife. I was fighting my wife. I was blaming her. I was saying I should go get a girl on the side, all this other stuff. And you know what God did 2 years later? What? I couldn't have sex for 2 years.
What?
My thing wouldn't come up. He said I could take Cialis. I could take nothing would happen to me. I really had a condition that I was going through. He says, now explain life to you. Your wife can't leave you now. You could have left her. She could leave you now. The point with life he's trying to say is, trust me, you're going to go through a lot of shit, and you're just going to hope that someone's going to be there during a good time like that when you're going through it. Again, this is some of this fluffy stuff. People don't want to hear about this kind of fluffy stuff. They want to hear about calling out chicks and all this. That's more entertaining than this is boring shit. Trust me, I know it is. I'm telling you, it's boring stuff. But I'm telling you, later on in life, when you're investing into things that outlive you, the high is a higher high, bigger high. When I was younger, life was hard and annoying. The way I was able to go through shitty times, I had some people in my life that were very negative and bitter. The only way I was able to get through it is to have something to look forward to. And it was Sunday NBA games. That was it.
Yeah.
So it was Wednesday. I'm going through some crying in my house nonstop. All I'm looking forward to is something on Sunday. If you have more things to look forward to in life, you come from a different place, you perform better, you handle problems in a different way, you're a little bit more patient because you have so many more things to look forward to. And it's very hard to position yourself to be there because that also comes with a lot of pain, heartache, risk. Because the same we have a lot of things to look forward to is also means a lot of shit can break.
Yeah.
A lot of things can go against you. But the alternative is just not a life worth living for.
I gotta tell you, you got Chef PBD in the kitchen cooking right now, guys.
I agree with what you said 110 fold. But could we just adjust the marriage thing? I think marriage is great, but in a certain context of, for example, where you do it and how you do it. So let's say we can get married, but not by the state. Or if you get married outside the U.S., what do you think?
To get married in the States or outside the U.S.?
So, for example,
basically without the government being involved.
Yeah.
His big thing is which I agree with. Yeah, just having the state involved.
That's not. I don't care about that. To me, listen.
You're talking about the actual.
I'm talking about the actual
marriage in itself. You don't care about the state being involved.
Man, go get married at a church. Go get married. So listen, babe.
Okay.
Church.
By the way, you can put a structure and say, babe, I'm going to get married. I'm not getting married by the government, but I'm going to get married based on our religion, our church. You good with that? Or else I'm not getting married.
That's
no
fair.
problem.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go, chat. So you can do it smart.
Yeah. I think as long as you don't have the state involved where she could take you to the cleaners and destroy you, and you mitigate for risk, I think that's something that's a little bit more acceptable. Or you could just have 4 wives so they behave anyway. So
like Myron.
It's a pick and choose.
Cool.
Where are you planning on getting these 4 wives? I have to ask you.
Well, just in his defense, he's doing it right now. Wink, wink.
Okay.
It's
there's a difference between wives and
So
concubines.
Look, hold on. Just for context, man.
Yes.
We went on a double date. Well, just
Who met on a double date?
Hold on. Me and Myron. Well, to make it more realistic.
That's how you guys met?
No. Recently, right?
Oh,
a couple days ago.
gotcha. Imagine if that's how the FreshandFit podcast
Gecko.
started.
Gecko, right?
2 girls. You guys are the gentlemen on the date.
I was with one
What's up,
girl.
y'all? Yeah.
He was with 3 girls. So I think he's doing it very well right now. Where he's mastering the skills of
by the way,
having 4
do you
wives.
know Ronald Reagan? There was a book called Killing Reagan. Okay. And when Reagan went through the first divorce with Jane Weinman, what's her last name?
Yeah.
Why did I say correctly?
Yes.
When they went through a divorce, this was the first time he was single, and he was a B Hollywood actor, extremely handsome, in his late 30s or mid 30s, something like that. You know what advice he got? Because at that time he hadn't been with too many girls. The number was like he had been with 10 girls. Ronald Reagan. One of the advice he got from a lot of people says, listen, you're not going to be single for too long. Go have as much fun right now as possible. And the story of that in the book Kill on Reagan is Reagan went on a 2-year run where he was just playing and having a blast. And then he gets that out of his system, because the problem is if you don't get that out of your system, later on, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? Do what you got to do right now.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, eventually you're going to be bored out of your mind.
Well, this is the exact conversation that we had when you were on Soscast and what Ben Shapiro reacted to.
Oh, yeah.
When I was like, listen, when should a guy consider getting married? You said 35 years old, should have 6 to 12 saved up.
Yeah.
He should be making $100K a year. He should have his fitness on point, and he should be with 50 women. And I jokingly, I was like, all right, time for me to get married, because I'm at that phase and season of my life.
Yeah.
And Ben Shapiro had a meltdown.
Yeah. He went crazy.
He did not understand that concept.
Yeah.
But if you can do that, I certainly think you should explore those options.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of Ben Shapiro, just he got lucky,
Not exactly
right?
the ladies' man.
Yeah, he got lucky,
Brainiac,
right? And he
though.
basically lost to Virginia and married the woman that he's currently with, and it worked out, which is fantastic. That's great. But to go ahead and try to attribute that to the rest of the male population
The masses.
in 2023, when we know women are more promiscuous than ever before, we don't have religion as a buffer anymore. We
Social
don't have
media.
a father figure a lot of the times in these households. Like all the buffers and the training wheels that kept women in line and kept them honest and good, nurturing women, they're kind of gone from society. And if anything, society's incentivized women to if anything, society's kind of incentivized women to behave in a way that isn't to being a good girl and a loyal girl for you as a man. So I just say, to combat that, you got to have these things in place for you. But Ben Shapiro doesn't understand that the dating game has changed significantly from when he got married. I mean, when did he get married? Like maybe 5-10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Like even in the past 5 years has changed significantly. With Instagram and dating apps.
Also, I would say this. I was on the Andrew Schultz podcast 3 days ago in New York. What's today? Today's Monday.
Oh,
Thursday.
Flagrant? Or not so flagrant.
Yeah. So I was on Schultz's podcast, and I'm a big Schultz guy. I think the guy is, but to me, is the modern day Johnny Carson. Anyways, I'm a big fan of the guy. I think he's a pure talent. But I'm sitting there with him, and he's got his 4 other guys on the set with me. Okay, his crew.
Your boy Akash.
Yeah.
Okay, Akash being one of them. By the way, Akash has only had sex with one girl in his life.
Oh yeah, we're aware.
Oh, we know.
We're
And then there's another guy named Mark, same as well. Mark. Akash, I think, is a very good-looking guy. And Mark also thinks a very good-looking guy.
Pause.
They chose.
What is the pause?
They chose this route. To me, what I think is the problem is just as much of where you're looking for the girl as it is the girl. So if I'm going to the club to find a wife, you're gambling.
Yeah, it's L.
But if I go to a church or community I'm a part of, I'm like, I keep telling this guy, go to the temple. Keep going to the temple. This guy's temple is the nightclub. It's the wrong temple.
Girls.
And he says he wants to get married. You don't want to get married. He's like battling. Oh, be player, be this, be that, be this. And FYI, the longer this goes and the more options you have, the harder it is to get married.
Let me say this.
There we go.
For most men out there,
There we go.
if you can pick the Saz path of being 40, having, money, muscles, game frame, that whole thing, playing your field, having options, or going the Ben Shapiro Akash route, gentlemen, test drive as many fucking cars as you possibly
I'll take
can
your side with
before
that one.
you buy a vehicle for the rest of your life.
I would debate that. And I'm telling you, I'm not Akash and I'm not Ben Shapiro. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm not either one
But
of
you're
them.
not advocating marrying one woman, the first girl you sleep with.
But I'm not advocating that either. But I am telling you, for somebody that is in the faith-based community, Ben Shapiro is Jewish. Akash is not Jewish. I think Akash is an Indian guy. Is Akash Indian? I don't know what nationality is. Yeah. So
I think he's Hindu.
Yeah, if it is within that community, go at it. And by the way, you're thinking you've been smooth. Let me tell you guys a crazy story. This is the problem with this guy. Okay. I'm in, where am I? Was I in Montana or was I in,
Is this your Aspen story?
Aspen. I'm in Aspen. Check this out. I go to the Four Seasons to get a massage. Okay. This girl comes out to give me the massage. So I'm sparking a conversation. So where are you from? I live here. Where are you originally from? Miami. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, what part of Miami? Such and such. What college you go to? Florida State. How old are you? 40. Okay. Do you know a guy named Adam Sosnick? She stops. How do you know Adam? I said, how do you know Adam? He says, well, no, trust me. I know what you're asking. I'm not the one. It wasn't really me. It was really my girlfriend. And, I'm like, so what is he doing nowadays? What's he up to? This can happen once a month with this guy, okay? With what this guy's been around.
Not with women, just people you're saying.
I mean, it can happen with guys as well, apparently.
No,
that one we have to pause, right? Pause is what you got to cut that last part. No, but the point
networking is key.
The point is
access and networking.
FYI, there are a lot of people that would love to be Ben Shapiro right now. You can say what you want to say about Ben.
Oh, no, for sure.
There's a lot of people that would love to, and I've not taken Ben Shapiro route. I was not ready. I was not a guy that believed in marriage. I was anti the institution of marriage. I did not believe in it. I was an atheist for 25 years of my life. I was super paranoid, super skeptical. And then one day I'm like, yeah, I'm changing my strategy. I think I was 28 when I did that.
I think there's a balance here where like you should experience some things, for example, get out of your system is the terminology for it. But come to an end where you say, you know what? I've done enough exploring where I, as a man, make a choice what I want to do.
Yeah, I think in Ben's situation, he got fortunate where he was able to find a girl that hit a lot of the checks you mentioned, right? Similar faith, a similar background. A lot of these buffers were in place to kind of set a perfect stage for a successful marriage in his situation. But for a lot of guys, they might not have these luxuries afforded to them, where they're able to get that, right? So that's kind of the situation where I'm like, okay, a lot of these guys aren't able to. Chris. Shout out to Chris in the back. Chris, you missed another one. God damn it.
Thank you. I will say there's one
they don't
thing.
have these buffers in place.
There's one thing, a terminology that did not exist 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and that is the concept of FOMO. That is a real thing these days. So you could think you have the best girl in the world. You could think that you're going to settle down and get married. Just look at Steven Crowder, for an example. With social media and the advent of technology and what's available for any girl who's hot, they can just open up her app and just get flown across the world. FOMO is a real thing. It's real with men as well.
I would argue for FOMO, because I've talked about this on a show before.
Yeah.
I think FOMO is way worse with women than it is with men. For men, you have to earn your FOMO. You got to get to a certain point, get your status up, get your money on point, and you're like, oh, damn, girls like me. Then you get the FOMO. You got to earn it. Well, women, though, it's like, instant. I'm 19, FOMO, woo, these guys want to hit me up, etc. Like, it's crazy, man.
Look at any young girl nowadays between like 18 to like 25. They want to be single and have fun because guess what? They can go to Dubai today, Miami tomorrow, because
Instagram wasn't a thing when Shapiro got married.
It wasn't.
Exactly.
Like dating apps weren't a thing when Shapiro got married. So it's like, it's changed a lot. So, and here's the thing, bro. I wish like we can, had that traditional conservative, let's get married at 25. You're at your peak. I'm at my somewhat peak. Let's do this, but I think in today's day and age, with just the way the sexual marketplace is and the way women behave and the way social media is set up and the music industry and everything else like that. That's why I said the music industry is one of the biggest destructions in society. It's just set it up in a position where it's not aligned for you to win as a man. And then you take the family courts on top of that. It's like, oh, God.
And by the way, FOMO means fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out for you guys that are wondering.
Yeah.
So,
some more chats here, Nick.
Definitely.
All right.
Okay. It was 50 and up, Chris?
This was before.
Oh, okay. I'm a 21-year-old father. I wanted to express my deepest gratitude for PBD. He was a bright light in many times of uncertainty and confusion. He is a fantastic role model, and we can be thankful that we have such influences today. Absolutely,
Very
man.
true.
A lot of wisdom on today's show. 22-year-old African-American, 135 pounds. I make $42K without OT and can potentially move up and make 65 to 75K without OT in my early 30s. I want to make 100K a year, but don't know what decision to make. I live in Baltimore, Maryland, by the way. Get a side hustle, my friend.
You got to have a skill set, brother.
Yeah.
You cannot be comfortable making 30, 40, 50 grand at this point in your life.
Fuck no, especially
right now. Okay, but you need to develop a skill set where someone will pay you a astronomical amount of money for your expertise.
Bam. Gents, what do you think about the letter Q team? You think they were formed shortly after JFK's death? Also, Trump 100% won 2020, shutting down the swing states in the middle of the night and in the AM. Joe was up. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I know. We know, bro. We know. We're going to do a whole episode with John F. Kennedy, guys, and Ryan Dawson. So don't worry about that. Get the likes up for the military, us, Trump, and Kari Lake 2024. Vote in mass and vote Republican, U.S. America first over Rhino, them globalists, uniparty agenda, U.S. Okay? Eddie Ortiz. All right, I'm going to just say it. Adam, that hairline crazy to me.
What's going on? Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Thinning a little bit, but, we're holding out strong. Maybe you can get me your doctor.
There we go. Fresh, the righteous will be raptured before they force the mark of the beast. First
Corinthians 15:52.
Okay.
Of course, the Muslim can't say it.
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
But okay, Patrick, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you believe in rapture? Yes or no?
Do I believe in rapture? Yes or no? I'm a bit of a skeptical Christian, is what I am, and I've eventually come to the conclusion that I'm in. Okay, this is my position, what I believe in, and I'm either going to be right or going to be wrong. But the risk I'm taking is the risk of being a true believer of a Christian. And we're going to see what's going to happen there.
You know, it's funny, this argument regarding the rapture itself, I think it's kind of silly because ultimately, if you're Christian, it doesn't really matter. Whether you're here now or after, if you're going to hold strong to the faith, at some level, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think it's a mute point because, sorry, what's the word?
Moot point.
Moot point. There you go.
I got you.
Thank you, bro.
Lee Better goes, question for Beauty. What's the book you listened to in your car every day for a year?
2 years, 33 Strategies of War.
Bam. All right. This PBD point is perfectly exemplified in the book called A Magnificent Obsession by Lloyd C. Douglas.
Interesting.
And two more.
And last two here goes, Clout Gold 007 goes, hey, Myron PBD, I'm going to be an operating room nurse next year and plan on living with my parents to stack bread. Do you prefer dividend investing or real estate in terms of passive income? Shout out to you guys from Merida, Connecticut. Okay, that's right near the road for me. I like real estate, man, but there's nothing wrong with dividend investing too. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think, listen, the idea of trying to figure there's only one way to make money, pick one of them and go with it. For me, I chose insurance and I went that route. And a lot of my friends went real estate. And both of us are successful, but pick whichever route you're going to be going.
I'm just going to give him a different answer. If you're still living with your parents, brother, you need to be saving money before you start investing money. So I don't know how much you have saved up.
That's what he's saying, though.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he wants to do it purposely to stack money. Yeah, dude. I mean, stack money, and then what you could do is to get out of your parents' house is get an FHA loan, live in it for a year,
multifamily
out of your parents' house.
Yeah,
multifamily, and there's definitely a bunch of them in Meriden that you could find, and in New Britain. I'm about to close on a house in New Britain literally in 2 weeks. So yeah, bro, look for something in Central Connecticut. The prices aren't bad. Get an FHA loan, get a duplex, triplex, fourplex. You can easily get one for under $500,000. And FHA loan, put 1 to 5% down, and then bam, you're in there, and you're able to segue out of your parents' house, live in it for a year, make it work, get the hell out, and then go ahead and cash flow it out and put someone in there. So that's how you can do it. And then 4G Tone goes, W Pod, W Message, W Leaders. Thank you for all your impact on society. Can't wait for June 2nd. Wish I was in time for the VIP, but we lit at 5990 live. Yes, guys. Yo. And by the way,
shout
go
out
ahead.
to you, bro. 4G Tone, send me a DM, bro. You know what? We should get him a VIP for that, bro.
Okay.
We should, bro.
If he's your guy, let's do it.
Yeah.
Guys, tickets are on sale. Go get your tickets right now for FreshandFit and Valuetainment working together live.
June
Fort
2nd.
Lauderdale. That's going to be this Friday, guys. General admission tickets are still there. The VIPs are sold out, sorry. But you can go ahead and get your ticket, man, so that you can go ahead and join us live. We only got a few left. I think we can only see somewhere around 100, 120.
Yeah.
So you guys,
then it's a wrap.
Yeah, then it's a wrap. So you got to go ahead and get your tickets now, guys. And again, if you buy the GA, I'm going to still come out there, shake each one of your hands, take pictures, all that shit. I might not be able to have a full conversation with y'all, but I'm going to definitely come down there and meet you guys. And then at the VIP, we're going to have more detailed conversations,
and guys,
cigar lounge, hanging
bring
out,
your books for signing, man. Bring your books.
Yes, bring your books for signing, definitely.
And you guys are going to have a merch area, so make sure you're bringing your merch, your books, that you guys.
Damn, we don't have.
Well, I got some. Oh no,
so CEO Network.
I got some shirts for you guys. CEO Network.
Come on, we got a whole area set up for you guys to sign your merch.
Do you have books yourself or here or no?
I'd have to order them.
Let's order them. Yeah, ASAP.
Cool. Make sure they're there for the event.
Order them ASAP
guys,
and see what happens.
Bring your books, man.
Yeah, bring your books, guys.
Bring your own merch. All right, guys.
That doesn't sound very capitalist of you. Bring your own merch that you already purchased.
Listen, I was more thinking about like just be the people. And shit,
bro.
I didn't even think about like
that is going to be a major element. You're going to see Myron and Walt live in effect in the flesh with 20 different women that are going to be there that we're going to rotate in on stage to have conversations with you.
Oh God.
See what you did there?
See what you did.
Okay.
You know ahead of time that there's women going to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
So Frank Castle's
Look, he
So
said
in case you're Frank Castle, anybody, we have replacements.
he's giving us a heads
we
up.
can
there
fit
you go.
200 people in there. We can fit 25 people in
chat.
here.
He gave us a heads up, man. He didn't snake
No,
us, right?
me and Adam talked about this, guys. So
Okay.
don't worry about it. For you guys, they didn't snake anything.
Oh, let
Me and
the
Adam
comments
yeah,
happen.
these conversations.
Guys, you got to
Yeah.
come stronger with the comments. I've heard it all worse before. It's all good. It's all love. Don't worry about it.
So, guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and then also tomorrow we're going to be on PBD podcast live. We're going to be talking. I'll be there as a special guest in the morning too. So I got to figure out how I'm probably going to stay up all night.
Chances
In the
you sleep
morning.
tonight.
I don't know if I'll be able to sleep.
No, you
But-
won't.
It's
Yeah.
so funny. Whenever I have conversations with Myron, it's always at 8 a.m. I'm on my way to the office. He's on his way to bed. Yeah, I'm like, and we have to like coordinate our schedule. I call that vamp life.
Yeah, it is vamp life, man. It's because by the time we're done with like after hours and everything is cleaned up and we're done and everything, it's like 6 a.m. So
I
then
feel
I'm
you.
like, yeah. So put timestamps in, watch the video, make sure the audio is good and shit. It's,
But you have no idea
Respect.
how much respect I have for how much work you're putting in.
Nah, I
I mean,
appreciate
you're
it,
going to
man.
bed at 8 a.m.
yeah, it's reciprocal, man. Y'all putting in a lot of work too over there, man. You guys have had some great guests on PBD. So yeah, so you guys will see me on there probably tomorrow morning. What time is it? At
9 a.m.
9
it
a.m.
starts, so you need to be there at 8:30.
I gotta be there.
So you
at
need to
8:30.
leave by 7:30.
You got it, bro.
There you go, guys.
You got it, man.
No sleep tonight.
I
have no
No
You
sleep
got it, you
until
got it.
Brooklyn.
It's okay,
Myron.
no after hours tonight because it's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Oh,
there's-
so maybe you do get some normal
maybe
sleeping
I do.
hours.
I'm gonna try. I got
Gotta be hoes.
All right,
I woke up at like 4.
So
So
is this the end of the
I have no-
podcast?
I have no
pretty much
faith.
the end.
So,
It's
you
over.
know, we've missed probably the first half of the Heat game. You know, huge Heat fan, born and
Okay.
raised Miami.
Fair enough. Fair
All
enough.
good.
You're a real Heat fan, unlike everybody
real
else.
Heat fan. I don't just show up to
Yes,
town being like,
sir.
"Go Heat!" LeBron left, and you're out. You guys have any predictions for the game? You were at Game 6, which was backbreaking, heartbreaking, just dismantling of the soul. Okay, PBD. Heat are up 15. When?
Heat are up now 14.
Okay.
I am so
In the
fucking
in the
excited.
third.
Let's see if they hold it.
Let's see.
In the
That's
third.
what she said.
In the third quarter?
Yep.
Fair enough, man.
Wow.
Guys, we're gonna
Anyway.
put all their links below, man. Subscribe to the PBD podcast. Subscribe to Valuetainment Money, aka Saucecast. Subscribe, man, and subscribe to the Valuetainment channel. I'm gonna put all the links below, man. Check these guys out. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning on the PBD podcast. And other than that, man, I'll give you all the last word.
Keep kicking ass, guys. You guys are doing a phenomenal job, Fresh and Fit. And it's awesome seeing the way you guys are growing, challenging everybody. But looking forward to seeing many of you guys this Friday on the podcast with Saucecast and Fresh and Fit. Like I said, I have a feeling it's going to be wild. And the highlight clip that we create of this from Friday should be pretty insane. And when they do the live podcast, camera pans out on the audience. So just, you know, if you're a person that's going to be at the first ever live with these guys, I would not miss this Friday.
History
No, if I
in
don't
the
want to,
making.
my friend.
History.
I just want to give you guys a shout out and to anyone out there that's putting themselves out there and making things happen. One of my favorite allegories, poems is The Man in the Arena by Teddy Roosevelt. And it's so easy to talk shit from the sidelines. It's so easy
True.
to be that person with a hidden social media profile commenting all sorts of nonsense. It is so hard to put your life out there and stand for what you believe and say things that you feel. And not everyone can do it. So shout out to what you guys do. I know that we take a lot of heat. Pat has beat the chat. And it's shout out to the content creators and that align themselves with you guys. And keep doing what you're doing, brother. Appreciate you having
Thanks,
us on.
man.
Appreciate that, man. We're gonna over here on this side of the internet, we proactively make content while haters like Abba and Preach reactively make content. So fuck those fuckers. We'll catch you guys on the next
We're in the
episode.
crossfire now, but we got your back.
Peace.
Later on.
I ran so far.